fairly range-bound trading for the futures this morning on this one-year anniversary of the post-Liberation Day bump. That's right, 1 year ago we had the second best performance in NASDAQ history. And this is, of course, the same day that we got the post about making sure today was a good time to buy. As you can see here, NASDAQ and S&P 500 below yesterday's closing price, but super range-bound trading in this post and pre-market session. We'll take a look at oil because USO is going to remain on watch, and it is climbing as we continue to get tensions here and updates in the Middle East with the conflict with U.S., Iran, and of course also Israel. And it's not just oil news and watch today. We have tons of big tech headlines. CoreWeave with a massive update today, and Meta, which had a big bump yesterday as well, is involved in this CoreWeave story. We've got some headlines on Tesla. And of course, throughout the day, we're going to keep an eye on these geopolitical headlines, but it's not just geopolitics. We have a massive data drop coming through at 8:30 a.m. We'll get PCE, we'll get GDP, we'll get personal income and personal spending, as well as initial jobless claims. It's a big day, and we have back with us today after his vacation, Sharif. How are you doing today, Sharif?
I'm good, Adair. Thank you. It was a great trip. Great to be back to a non-area low market, guys. Good morning. As Adair mentioned, Tesla in the headlines today with a possible cheaper EV. Meta Muse, maybe they get actually something out of this scale with Alexander Wang acquisition. Amazon releasing some of their AWS revenue, and Stargate. Well, Stargate England anyway, specifically, that might be on some putting on some brakes there as Microsoft's investment in OpenAI should be interesting. Also, CoreWeave, Occidental Petroleum with a Gulf discovery, and then Adair, we had Constellation and Applied Digital earnings yesterday.
We also had a BlackBerry earnings this morning, too, so a couple smaller earnings names to talk about. Again, stick with us for that 8:30 a.m. data dump. We'll give that all to you right here in Trader TV Live. Sean, Neil, lots of headlines. What are you guys looking at?
Well, you know where we have to start, everybody, and welcome back to Sharif. You got to give respect to Tan. Tan game was strong. That's what I walk in, I'm like, whoa. He's like, if you're not, what was it? If you're not burnt, you're not doing it right. Yeah. Which is how it has to be.
You don't want to be too burnt, but I think he looks pretty good. I think he's, you know.
Man, it's a little worse for wear.
Okay,
but you know, it'll be better soon.
Good problem to have, brother. Good problem to have.
It's all good. It's all good.
Hopefully the market doesn't have too many problems today, but flat's not bad. Slightly down.
I have no problems.
Considering USO's back up, like the yo-yo action is back. Like, you know, in reality, all you heard yesterday was, okay, this violation of the ceasefire, and these aren't the talking points we agreed to. So really, everything is pretty contentious, and we expect. And then, of course, as we were sort of expecting, we did get a somewhat harsh truth last night from the president, essentially just calling shenanigans on their 10 points and saying, hey, things can get real, to paraphrase a little bit. We know the headlines are going to continue to drive this market. I think that means you don't want to be stubborn. Like yesterday, on a dime, at any moment, we had all those different volume spikes come in on USO, and that could really shift the market. But it trended up almost all day, which was weak for the markets. And right now, not much. It's pretty flat, so to speak. The earnings names, not too big of a deal, but it's worth at least giving a cursory one thumb up. See, BlackBerry's at least up there. That's probably the one and only time we will look at BlackBerry today. It's double digits, but that's easy to do when you've been a beaten up stock. Probably more interested in some of the names that went heavy downside yesterday, like this Burry thing with Palantir, and then of course Tesla, which has a positive news story. That's where the volatility is going to lie, not the earnings names. Well, maybe not. Well, BlackBerry might have the volatility, but who cares?
Yeah, that's only one name. So we're getting ready into earnings season. Next week, we've got a big one here. I sit down, and the very first thing Sharif tells me is actually, did I see Marvell? And there it goes, up 4% more right now as that just keeps on going and going and going and going. And for some reason, my charts did not change all to Marvell. And there it goes again. What a week for Marvell. These guys were $88 back on March 31st. But you know, if you're holding Marvell, you're making a lot of money. There's no doubt about that. But yesterday, Mark Zuckerberg made $13 billion himself. on that move up in Meta yesterday. So there it goes, up to $13 billion in one day. That's not bad. All the way up, and we'll see what happens. It's all paper gains and losses, of course. But there goes Meta, just shooting the moon yesterday, up to 625, $13 billion. What was I doing yesterday? But that's nice. Still underneath the 50-period moving average. But yeah, man, did we miss the bottom? We're back actually above now the war where we started with Iran. Just got back to flat yesterday. I think it was March 10th. Or so when everything started to happen, and that was this day right here. Then we had some, kick down in the market, right back up now, as if, that never happened. But there still is some clarity needed on the Strait of Hormuz. We talked about the way USO was looking, and oil up 4% already here today. But it's funny because now oil's up 4% and the market's shrugging that off. So
who cares?
Wait a minute. Why is USO only showing? Hold on. CL. Is it wrong? Is it just a couple percentage points? I thought it was 4. There it is. Okay, yeah, it is 4. Okay, so 4.7% upside there. And the story was yesterday, forget about all that noise. I mean, Intel shot the moon yesterday as well.
Oh, my goodness.
So there goes Intel to, was it 5-year highs or something we talked about? Up to 60, almost to $60. Looks like we got 59.22s or so in Intel. So maybe wait to see a pullback day for INTC. I don't know. I don't have much, actually. Maybe I should send out a tweet. I don't really have much going on today, to be honest with you. I was looking at Amazon, maybe. Jassy talking about their chip business is blasting off now, which seems to be really nice. There goes Amazon to the upside. That's only up 10% as well in about a week, so that's a nice move there from 200 up to 225.
What's disappointing?
Yeah, that pulled back.
This CoreWeave. Like CoreWeave, when you sit down this morning, they had this expanded deal with Meta, which I even see in the chat. It's got mentioned by JL8. 822 was mentioning in the chat. It's already given a lot of it back. It's underneath where it was sitting at the open yesterday, even with that news. So it's just slightly disappointing. The only thing that, look, Intel, just to visually show you guys what this has been doing the last little bit. A monthly chart, Intel's approaching this massive double top area from like 2021. And what reason do you have to believe it's not going to get there at this particular point? So it was a huge volume runner. In the absence of like really big time movers, with CoreWeave not really holding out on these overnights, I think some of the stuff that was the strongest and moving the best yesterday comes right back into play. And that does lead to things like in Intel, maybe even Meta, as they got there, like you're saying, like that massive bump. So maybe a little bit continuation. Although if he can't get back above 58 on this stock, whoops, why didn't this not go to Intel? If you can't get back above 58, I don't like when support turns into resistance if you're being bullish. So this needs to break 58, otherwise it's a wait for a dip for me on INTC. So yeah, there's going to be a lot to watch, and probably doesn't matter to anybody else, but if you're at Real Trading and you're wondering what happened to BM&R, it is now on the NYSE exchange. Most platforms automatically, you just type in BM&R, you're good, but used to be Amex, BM&R is now on the New York Stock Exchange. Probably doesn't matter to anyone unless you're just trying to find the symbol.
Yeah, uplisted. I think it's good for BM&R. You always want to go to the mature exchange there and grandfather NYSE. So it was NYSE, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was on the
NASDAQ?
No, it was Amex.
But it's now NASDAQ.
Now
NYSE. Yeah, so now on the NYSE. So what's up to that? BM&R and Tom Lee and everybody. I don't know, is it affecting the stock? Let's see. It's just going to move with Ethereum anyways. So there's the, our charts are
not going to, you have to e-signal it.
My eye today. All right, let's go back over to the desk. 809 right there. We have PCE coming at 8:30. A couple economic numbers, right, today, Adara, I think?
It's not just PCE, it's going to be GDP, personal income, and personal spending. And then, of course, also, as we get every Thursday, more or less, that initial jobless claims tomorrow morning CPI. So it's going to be a pretty packed, 24 hours here when it comes to economic data. Because you guys mentioned crypto, I actually just saw this headline floating through, which I thought was pretty interesting. Politico reporting that President Trump could be attending a meme coin conference later this month. So, again, nothing massive, but kind of interesting, especially with those crypto mentions. We also have comments coming through from Kevin Hassett, who is the White House economic advisor. He's saying that the U.S.-Iran talks are, quote, not meaningless, and they're working together in what they believe could be a great deal. But let's start CoreWeave. I know a lot of the chat wanting to look at CRWV. Neil mentioned it. Couple headlines here, Sharif. You've got Meta and CoreWeave with this big expansion deal, setting the stock higher, but then they announce an offering.
There it is, Adara. $3 billion in convertible senior notes due in 2032. It's vis-a-vis a private offering. The initial buyers will have the option to purchase an additional $450 million within about 2 weeks, 13 days specifically articulated here. So the potential raise could be increased from $3 billion to $3.45. The notes will be senior unsecured obligations, fully guaranteed by subsidiaries of CoreWeave. I don't know exactly which ones, but here's the deal. The convertible into cash, shares, or a mix, and it's at CoreWeave's discretion. So the conversion pricing here, as well as the interest rate, will be determined at pricing. That's a key variable for traders because we want to see exactly what that number is, what the price specifically is going to be, as well as the interest rate. But the raise suggests that there is something that we already know, which is this industry is very capital heavy, building out AI infrastructure.
Funny too, again, we get this announcement right after that Meta and CoreWeave expansion agreement, $21 billion expansion. So, one positive, one negative headline to balance out CRWV. What's the look here on CoreWeave, guys?
Well, if it had been just a positive, which it led with, I was going to be pretty much easy continuation long. It's not as simple when you sort of cloud things, and we already showed the chart, which is pulling back. That being said, it's a little bit of it was a breakout that got confirmed yesterday. If you look at the 50 period here, the support has been really, really good at 70. It's just trying to do something with that now. So there's a little resistance at about 88, and that gives you something to work with, right? Like you had resistance prior at 88. It turned into a bounce level yesterday. A lot of times when you have an offering, I always say let the open market determine, and this is true with small caps too, like let the open market determine where they want to bottom it. Oftentimes I shouldn't say all the time, but oftentimes you do find a bottom that morning. And I look at that 88 level as probably the only place that I'd be interested in. You're clearly on the back end of the move, and it needs to catch some kind of a bid. So for it to do continuation, it just has to hold 88. But the whole day trade was kind of gone for me when it lost that 94 top and because of the offering here. So I'm not as interested in as I was before. I'd be more apt to look at like an Intel or an AMD. And Randy, Tesla yesterday. Tesla, wherefore art thou Tesla? That thing dropped like 20 bucks yesterday. Absolute rocket to the downside. We worried? He gives us the I don't know whether he's worried or not. We have a mic. He's ho-hum on Tesla. He's all Rivian Randy. That's all it is.
What's going on, Randy?
Well, you're on. Oh, it's not on?
That's better. Is
There
that better?
we go. Now I hear Randy.
Look, you and I had the Optimus conversation. Like, come on. Like, where's the toys? Where's the semi-production? Stay focused. Come on. Like, okay, Robotaxi's there, but is it not there? It's not rolled out as many cities as it could be. I don't know. There's lag here. Typical Elon lag. You know, I don't know.
And everyone's so focused on XAI and, of course, SpaceX right now.
Which is fine.
SpaceX.
There's headlines, but does it sell cars? Doesn't, I don't know.
Oh, my coffee.
I'm with you. 280. Yeah. 280. That's where I'm a buyer, Tesla. I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if it, look, maybe it doesn't get there. Like, this doesn't have to, like, we're talking about another 15% or so, or 15, 16% for it to get down to that 280. After yesterday, it seems possible, but who knows? Sharif?
I was going to say before he took off, I was watching the Elon keynote on the flight back about that huge terafab that they want to build out. And all he kept saying that he wanted the chips for was Optimus. I mean, he was talking about Optimus nonstop. You would forget that Tesla was actually selling cars. I mean, he had no interest. And even when he referenced the EVs in that keynote, he's like, yeah, well, nobody thought Tesla or nobody thought we could, mass produce electric vehicles. Here, Tesla is delivering 2 million cars a year. But that was only to kind of build on his bigger point, which was the robots are going to be the thing of the future, and they're going to be made in way larger numbers servers than cars. So you feel like Elon is really stepping away from the EVs, and the only reason he mentions them is to keep investors appeased, because that's where the valuation stays, of course, on the deliveries and in the cars that they sell. So I just kind of wanted to build that point before he took off over here, because he was mentioning Optimus.
Which I tend to agree with almost all of that. It's just that the future is supposed to be the deal with Tesla. Like, you can say that it's a car company and that's driving the valuation, but the truth is, it's like what's going on in the future has typically driven the valuation, not necessarily focusing on the now. Okay, fine, we know deliveries are not up to snuff and all that good stuff, but unfortunately, this sort of is what it is. If we're going to brass tacks here, it's just a matter of channel down, prove that you're not doing this. Like, since this made a high at 500, it's been relatively clean. Like, usually you can't draw a trend line for 4 months like this and have it hold, but that's been the case. We do have a wick bottom from yesterday, so we've had wick tops and wick bottoms. So there's a chance that we've maybe made like a temporary bottom in here where you can bounce higher. But until this breaks the channel up, I'm thinking head to next support, which is significantly lower. We got some super chats. Let's fire them up there, Andre. Let's get them up there. We've got one from JKL, that's right, the brushing teeth report. Okay.
And you got to make sure you brush your teeth.
That's very important.
My kids are going, they have a dentist appointment. I think it's either this week or next. And then they just went to their optometrist. Everything was all good over there.
Floss, too.
As well. Flossing, yeah, flossing. Kids never floss. I don't think my kids floss. I don't know. I'll have to attend to that.
It'll do, like, my daughter loves doing it. It's just,
minors.
if you have to remind her all the time, and the kids don't remember to do it.
Oh, yeah.
It's SILJ, this is the mod, this is silver miner. And I think you mentioned this 2 days ago or yesterday. Either way, it was this week. Bouncing clean. I mean, SLV's bouncing clean. Like, you're seeing the metals bounce. Got to keep that eye on the US dollar. Obviously, that's going to be the case. It did, like, you had this move, like the 200 period to the 50 period in just a couple of weeks, and there was a slight rejection here of the 50 period. That'd be the only concern. Because when a stock respects a moving average on the way up and then breaks it, you almost feel like support turns into resistance at times. And so you already had one bounce away from it. A consolidation would be good and not just a complete rejection and heading lower. So I think it's a pretty key day for the metals. I wasn't that excited about SLV today. I'm not sure why I wasn't. Because this was a typical fill the gap right back into a prior support level. I mean, it felt like right down in, bounced off, resistance turning into support. And that was at 66.5. That looks like a good level to me. I would add that to at least put it on the iPad, because that's what you want to see sometimes. Like when you have a stock and it bounces off an obvious level like that, then should kind of like the level if we see it again here in SLV. So good luck and thanks for that.
Was there another super chat?
I thought there was two.
Okay. Oh, there you go. Oh, lunch has arrived. What are the bananas looking like there today? Pretty good. Okay. Can you give your opinions on why the newspaper stocks are in bull trends? Are they in bull trends? We haven't really looked at it. What I was thinking about when we talk about media companies and news stocks and this is like a huge. This is like
what the? Oh, come on, Randy.
Caught like some shrapnel over here on the banana. But this has been a really interesting story because, in my opinion, these LLMs are having to pay for good data, and attaching into. It's kind of like, how they pay for the tokens into Reddit and things like that. I wonder if that's part of the story, with the New York Times, possibly just getting going there and getting a little more efficient with less production of the paper itself, more online, and probably getting a little bit more efficient also with AI, possibly. And people want originality, right? I mean, anybody can make an article now with AI, and if you've got writers that people believe in, editors and whatnot, then potentially the New York Times continues to win. But there must be another story there because, that's a huge move. That's from October, you're at $54 to $84. And I mean, the AI story has been started for a very, very long time. So I don't know, maybe just something that's not getting swept up in all of the nonsense that is oil, that is, Iran, the market. And people just want good information. So I'm wondering if that's what it's about. I actually don't even know the story.
I like the Athletic, but I don't like that.
Shashuka?
What do we got here?
Oh, those are I thought those are cookies they look like, but they're not. What is that? That's a potato?
Is this some kind of a potato
Latte?
pancake?
Like a
I don't know what this is. And then a little chili sauce to go with it.
Let me check the. We are going to check the.
It's not like I have to know what I'm eating, but I'm very, very curious.
We'll go to Joe in a minute over here. We got to get this figured out over here. On Thursday, this is. Shanghai scallion pancakes.
Oh, it is some kind of a pancake.
Shanghai scallion pancakes.
You don't have a fork or something to eat?
I don't know. Where's the protein, Sharif, over here in this stuff? All right. Well, we'll try this out.
Okay.
Should be interesting. All right. The big screen is locked and loaded with the big man himself. Is Joey Options at the big screen? Man, I'm so proud of this guy. You know, we've graduated now
moved up.
over into the big screen. This man is killing it on all stages. Small screen, big screen, and soon to be a movie theater near you. It's Joey Options with some calls.
All right, guys. I don't know about the movie theater anytime soon, but let's get a look into some of the options activity here, guys, on yesterday. We're going to kick things off with Meta. And Mark Zuckerberg's super intelligence team essentially releasing the first model, guys. So a lot to look forward to here. We're going to start off with this 610 strike price. And now this contract is going to be in the money, and you're going to see our Greek metrics drastically increase. But first things first, let's get into the open interest, guys. 5,960 contracts still currently open at that level. And then you have 15,000 contracts that were opened and closed on yesterday's session. We've seen that massive volatility spike, so that's why we can see an increase in some of our Greek metrics. We're going to look at the bid and the ask here as well. Relatively wide, guys. We're looking at a $20 spread, but after the open, that may tighten up. But there's a couple things that we need to take into consideration, and that's going to be our delta and our gamma here, guys. Relatively cool for a contract. When I was looking at this on the options chain last night, extremely cool for what I was expecting for such a deep in-the-money contract and a move that we've seen yesterday up to $630. Almost no gamma exposure as well, too. You're going to have to go down that options chain to get a little bit more exposure to those Greeks. But as for the at-the-money IV, 51.4% here, guys. Moving forward, we're going to take a look at Palantir. What was going on with this name yesterday? The market found somewhat of a rally, but Palantir wasn't participating, guys. Let's get into some of these metrics and these numbers here. To kick things off, 20,900 contracts opened still currently open here on this $155 strike price, with 36,700 open and closed on yesterday's session. Now, these contracts aren't going to be worth very much because we are south of this, and that's what we're going to have that very little bid and ask, but that spread is only $1, which isn't so bad here, guys. If it finds somewhat of a bounce, we'll get into a little bit more detail. So we have essentially set up a couple potentials here as well, too, in Palantir. Now, as for our delta metric, once again, we're out of the money on these guys. So as we get higher in that in the strike price column, we're going to see a little bit less exposure. And then our gamma, relatively cool. And then at the money IV, considering we were selling aggressively yesterday, 62.5%. Now, I want to lead to our next contract here on Palantir, and this is going to be on the put side. So you can see that on yesterday's session, just out of the gate, we were talking about our call option. That was roughly the high of the session. Now, where can we find a potential bottom? Well, that leads us to this $140 strike price, with open interest sitting around 6,110. Well, that's going to be the most amount of size at that closest strike, and roughly at the money, so relatively close. Maybe we can find a potential bottom as long as this supply isn't absorbed. Now, as for the volume, 17,500 contracts opened and closed on yesterday's session. Our delta metric is always going to be negative because it's on the put. Gamma exposure, relatively cool, but an uptick in implied volatility, 62.5%. Same thing as the calls. We'll be back momentarily with some analyst actions, guys.
Well, I'll tell you this right now. We'll give that analysis 2 thumbs up. We'll give those little pancakes, I already forget the name of them, we'll give those 2 thumbs up. Unfortunately, the price action in Palantir yesterday gets a 2 thumbs down. There's no other way to look at it. I'm grabbed. It was tasty. I didn't need the chili
Shanghai
sauce.
scallions.
There we go, Shanghai scallions. I didn't need the chili sauce. I like spice, but I don't know, it was really good.
Pretty good, yeah. A little greasy, but it was really good actually.
Eat that with a fork
I give those 2 thumbs up. Considering for the first time we tried those.
I don't like the Palantir. I think there's a reasonable chance that you could actually bounce off that 140. But when I was sort of looking at it here, like it was 145 that stood out to me. Like just these little breakaway level, support, resistance in the afternoon. So I'm looking, if it gets close to that, to look for a bit of a fade, continuation fade. It's just too much of a, you drop off, you lose that key 50 level. If it starts gravitating back higher, I'm gonna look for a place to turn. Even if it broke 145, like I'd probably be just waiting for a reversion up top anyways on PLTR. Burry was like Anthropic's eating its lunch. It doesn't, I don't know whether whether you agree with him or not. In the last 2 weeks, like it's lost the 200. Now it's under the downward sloping 50-period moving average, so it's starting to look a little bit bearish for it. And as you were pointing out there, Sean, like we're a lot better off in most stocks, you know, from prior to the conflict. And this one, early on, it seemed like it was a pretty good trend break. And retesting that trend break bottom seems like it still makes sense to me. You only lost the 50-period yesterday, so at least coming down and getting to that low makes sense. And the other thing about 145, it is also the 50-period SMA on the daily, so that's my line of convergence. That's where I'm going to be looking for the fade. I think it could catch a bounce, but it hasn't really tested those recent lows yet. It's only been 1 day. And remember, today it's actually, you know, relatively, like what was weak yesterday, this is up slightly when the market's down. And then you look at something like an Intel, which was a rocket ship, that's down when the market is up. So you're gonna go down when the market's flat. So you do have some of this like relief rally potential, which is why I wanna be patient with that 45 level.
I was looking at the same thing, actually, exactly what you were just talking about yesterday. Only a couple red names, and you can see here on my watch list that I've just self-curated here. The only names that were red yesterday, Coinbase, barely, 0.02. Tesla, 1%, we've already covered that. Roblox keeps on getting hit, down to $55. And again, software, we talked about Unity and the game engines, and Google has one as well. So Roblox, I don't think there's anything wrong with Roblox at all, but that's going to the downside. Well, there's some issues, obviously, with it. Hence it's going down, but I still like the stock. XOM down yesterday, Oxy. These are the only two big names I look at. And, you know, anything oil related, obviously there's USO. And then, yeah, like a sore thumb right there is PLTR. But you know the other thing that was down yesterday, it's not on my watch list. I was looking at Meta because Joe had the call there. That looks like a good call again on Meta. You know, just looking to take out 630. I think that happens today. Could happen right away off open. There's a lot of people excited about Meta. Meta was too beat up. It got down to 520. That was 625. I mean, you're up 25% on Meta. That's major. We talked about $13 billion yesterday for Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, you can lose that in a day as well. The other name was CRM yesterday that really fell on its face, right? I mean, there's these names just, they can't get going. Like when you have this kind of an up market like we did yesterday, and then all of a sudden CRM still has a red mark on it. And not only do we have that green day, but CRM looking to break the lows right now. So Salesforce, man, I mean, it had to bump up with the IGV catching a little bit of a bid, and now it's all the way back down. This is going to have to be on the radar today for a short, even though you're flat on the day, NASDAQ flat on the day. CRM, man, look at how crazy this was yesterday. The market yesterday was up 3.5%, basically off open. This is what CRM was doing off open. Thank you. Oh, VWAP, we're back, we're saved, yeah. And it's just like, so, I don't know. This does not look very good to me. Salesforce, Mark Benioff, man, this is like a reverse vacation stock for me. We talked about Marvell being such a great stock, and that's why I was joking earlier. I said, you know, for every one winner I have, you got 5 losers. But there's CRM, just bang, right down there into 260. What a disaster this name continues to be. I think it's harder. I mean, what, want me to ask Anthropic right now to make me a CRM? I just don't think it's as easy as people think, but Salesforce continues to get hit. And until that rhetoric changes around, I mean, this name, I don't know. I guess it's an earnings play. You wait and see if they can prove their worth to you. But right now, the momentum not behind CRM, that is for sure. All right, we got to throw to Adair. We got a couple numbers coming out in just 1 minute. We'll review them and then drop them to you. Will PCE move the market? I mean, maybe not in these headlines, but we'll see how dramatic it is. Let's go over for a recap on the PCE expected number.
Yeah, lots of numbers on watch here quickly. I want to mention some comments made by this guy, Kevin Hassett. He actually spoke on one of the numbers we're going to get, GDP. He thinks that they're going to be getting 4 to 5% growth for the U.S. economy this year. He also said that he believes Kevin Warsh will begin his Fed chair as expected on May 15th. Comments from Hassett still coming in, speaking about oil as well. Let's get into, though, these economic numbers. We're looking here. Core PCE month over month, expected for core PCE month over month, up 0.4%, prior was 0.3%. You've got PCE year over year, 2.8% forecast, 2.8% prior. Personal spending looks like we already got 0.4% was the actual number, a little bit below the consensus of 0.5% and the forecast of 0.6%. GDP, Q over Q final, we know Kevin Hassett thinks 4 to 5% growth this year. We actually are expecting for this Q4 25 reading 0.7% versus the prior print of 0.7%. We are right now 5 seconds away. Again, PCE and core PCE, GDP, and some of these personal income and spending. We also just got here initial jobless claims. It's going to be 219,000, a little bit above the consensus of 210,000 and above the prior print of 230,000. You've got core PCE month over month, 0.4%. That's going to be in line with estimates. Personal income, negative 0.1% versus 0.3% forecast. GDP growth rate lower than expected, so 0.5% versus the consensus of 0.7%. PCE month over month, 0.4% versus 0.4% expected. PCE year over year, 2.8% versus 2.8% expected. So looks like these PCE numbers are all pretty much exactly in line with estimates for core PCE year over year 3% versus 3% expected. So again, really the biggest change here comes with lower than expected GDP for Q4 2025. Not too much of a move here on the markets, guys. Whole bunch of economic data. What are your thoughts?
Or thought. We didn't really think it was going to move the markets, but you never know. And for now, it's a slight move down as it's matriculating in. But look, the price index is going to be flat. You don't want to be too extreme on it. I think it would be the growth that would be the larger concern. We didn't have any movement on the Fed funds odds really yesterday that was negative. It was basically just a better chance of a rate cut matriculating. That's probably changed a little bit today. We'll check that out and see how it's reacting to this number. But the market was slightly down. It's a little more slightly down. Sorry about these wicks here, but the SPY just moved about 30 cents. The SPY.
Yeah, personal income,
pretty much nothing.
Spending.
And with the jobless, with the continuing claims numbers and some of the jobless claim numbers, you know those have been
higher.
Yeah, the accuracy there, and it's always about the revision. So,
yeah,
I think kind of a nothing burger. I hate to say that, but we go right back into caring about the next headline and caring about oil and individual catalysts. Doesn't look like the numbers are going to move us today.
I mean, there's the S&P 500 right now, just a little bit of a dip down into that. I mean, I was sort of reviewing the numbers as well. Thanks to Dara for the recap there. But yeah, nothing was really too out of line. Initial jobless claims right there coming in at 219, versus consensus 210. So there's a number there. Continuous jobless claims, they're highlighting that as an actual lower number there as well. So kind of just interesting the way this is all pairing out. The GDP 3.7 versus 3.8, so that's right in line as well. The GDP growth Q over Q, they're 0.5 versus 0.7, so a little lower on the GDP growth number. So I think that's could weigh on Kevin Warsh and company there when the Fed meets and discusses that interest rate decision. But yeah, the market doesn't seem to be caring too much about all that. Jobs are the big concern right now in the market. Let's just check quickly. We'll check the dollar. We do have Rahim Alani about to come through for us here, so that should be another great talk. Yeah, so here's the DXY. So the dollar trying to tick a little higher right now, but as you can see, we're underneath everything here. I'm not too worried. The dollar doesn't seem to want to move off that above that $100 marker. We've already seen the US dollar try to get through and hasn't. So we're still holding off on that 100 mark. Goes all the way back. Have to move the coffee almost basically a year, right? I mean, back into this is the tariff era, and this is actually. Adair already mentioned this. If you're joining us late, this was the anniversary of the largest day in NASDAQ history. Yeah. Is what Adair started the show with. Right there, the day that Donald Trump I think it was maybe around 10 o'clock or so, said get in there and buy. I can't remember exactly when it was, but the market was open. 101 right there for the dollar. So we'll have to wait to see what that happens. But yeah, happy anniversary to the time when we all wish we just pumped in every single thing that we had owned right there. If you go back over to the SPY, we'll go for 1 year, we'll be back into here. And there it is, this huge FU to the shorts. On April the 9th, 2025, when the S&P 500 went from 495 up to 545. Amazing, 10% right there insanity. On the S&P 500, just instant rocket ship to the north side. Only making back the last week of action. So, but here we go. Will we have that kind of a moment today? Even if President Trump came in and said everybody buy, I don't think today that's not a thing.
There isn't
right?
10% in this kind
there's
of market.
there's not even 5% today. There's not even 3% in the S&P 500. Like yesterday was a big move up to the 50
But
period.
we already had our 3% move.
That's what I was going to say. We already had that move up to the 50 period moving average. You get another 3% and you're taking out all-time highs. So that's probably not going to be in the cards today. Give it all the way back. So that sort of war premium that sometimes happens, we obviously had to move down. It's right back to those levels. Let's go over the desk. It's Adara, it's Rahim, to start with our guest of the day.
Sure.
Very excited to welcome back to the desk a good friend of ours on the show, Rahim Alani from OCI Inc. Lots to talk about, of course, in the oil and metal space. How are you doing with all of these back and forth headlines?
You know, it's interesting. I talk to Brendan whenever we're prepping for whenever we're going to come on. And it's always like, okay, let's wait till the morning to prep the notes because you never know what's going to happen overnight. And then last night we're like, okay, there's a ceasefire. You should be good. Let's talk about X. Woke up this morning and let's talk about Y.
Yeah.
So everyone shift and let's do something else because there's market chaos. And I know that's good for everyone out there on the trading side. They love to see the chaos, love to see the action. We're seeing massive volatility already. Just this morning, we were just talking, the price of oil when I woke up this morning to what it is already this morning is already moving. So it's going to be a wild day.
Yeah, and I think the volatility very likely to continue, that's for sure, no matter what you're looking at. So I want to talk a little bit about oil, and let's get right into the Strait of Hormuz. There's been this whole back and forth. Is it open? Is it not open? So I want to hear from you. If and when the Strait does open in a way that the world agrees is open, what do you think that'll do to oil, and kind of when and how?
So again, if you looked at it yesterday, if you looked at it literally like 12 hours ago, you know, the Strait's going to be open. Everyone's predicting where oil is going to go. And then it changed and all of that changed. So realistically, just in a real fashion, if everything was as copacetic as it was meant to be 24 hours ago, you were looking at oil starting to come trend back down to a fair number. Given what's happened this morning, Goldman's already come out and said it's going to take minimum, whatever happens in the next 24, 48 hours, it's going to take a minimum of a couple of weeks to get all of the Strait just fixed and going again. And so they're already saying that they're seeing oil hit 110, 120 into Q3, Q4, and that gives oil an overall $100 mark for the year, which is tough for a lot of people, especially in the States where there's 23 states that have reported gas over $4 a gallon. And that's a tough thing for people to swallow, that they're going to be spending $4 a gallon, plus there's a war over there, plus there's this place that the oil can go through, and it just can't go through right now. So it's tough to see.
Yeah, and it's especially tough, especially, again, given the back and forth as to whether or not this Strait is open and necessarily what that means. Let's kind of continue with the Middle East here, but spread out a little bit. So Qatar and money for the rebuilding here. How do you think this impacts, I guess, the oil situation? What areas of the market would you look to if this story develops?
No, I think that's another interesting angle to all of this, because there are these tangential countries that have had effects of this war that they really had no desire to be a part of.
Yeah.
And now they're being attacked, and they have monies that they're going to need to rebuild their infrastructure. So you look at Qatar, Bahrain, all these places that have been attacked by Iran, on the back of this war with the U.S. and Israel. So they're going to need to rebuild all of these things. So they've also said, as part of whatever's happening here between the talks, that they actually want money to rebuild their infrastructure, because they need that to support all of their oil and gas initiatives that they have all over the world. But in theory, in that region, business is still business. Like, no one's going to stop, and people might shift out of the country for a little bit, but business is still continuing in that region.
So I guess I have a follow-up question now, because I'm curious. Because we have so many, again, oil and gas heavy countries within this region, and we've already heard Iran itself wants kind of repayment, do you think if we get, again, a lot of this waiting for repayment of this infrastructure and oil, do you think this over the long term is a large impact, I guess, on the overall Middle East in terms of oil? Like, I know things can short-term shift, but as we continue to, I guess, get, these payments, if they do go through, how do you think that impacts things further?
That's a great question. I think what any of these things does is it realigns people's interests and makes them kind of right size where they want to be. Now, the way things have been for the past 20, 30, 40, 50, 1972, the last 50 years have been the way it's been. And now you look at the world and you say, well, if this happens again, then should we make changes? Canada's done that with respect to tariffs, as an example. So will the other Middle Eastern countries say, okay, we're going to have to find other alternatives in the event that this happens again? Right now, Iran controls that strait. Should that be the case? Will that be the case? Will other countries find other routes to do other things? China and Iran are lining up. Like, what does that all do for the world? So I think people will have to start taking other initiatives. And that's why Iran has said they want to start doing, instead of petrodollars, they want to go petro-yuan. Instead of taking, as part of this precondition of whatever it was, $1 or $2 a barrel, $2 million a ship, they wanted to take that money in crypto versus in USD, right? Yeah. So is it a realignment? And I think probably, instead of, you necessarily don't want to make changes unless you have to make changes. Yeah. Sometimes, and until you move to a new house, now you got to pack up and get rid of your stuff, right? Same premise here is the world is changing. We don't want this to happen to us again. So what do we do? And I think if there's a right sizing to be done, I think this is the time to do it.
Good analogy. It'll be interesting to see how everything looks when that right sizing is kind of complete. So let's talk here about Mubadala for a second. Looks like they're still spending some PE money outside of the UAE to kind of continue here with this region. I guess what's your thought on this angle of things?
Yeah, that was an interesting piece that came up as well. Is they announced $39 billion in deals last year in a tension-filled region. They still said we've put out more money than we've ever put out, and we're going to continue to grow into 2026. So it's interesting to see that again. That state-owned entities, government-controlled funds in the region are still doing business because business, again, like I said, business can't stop and it should continue. But it's seeing this region still aggressively putting money out, which is great to see for the rest of the world.
Lots of Middle East talk there. I want to kind of zoom out a little bit. You had some stocks you wanted to talk about. We've got a Canadian company to start with, CJ Cardinal. Nice daily chart here in that energy space. Yeah, so it was interesting. I was chatting with a friend who's a fund manager. And I was saying yesterday, what are your thoughts on oil and gas? And he said, I should have probably paired out my oil names, but it's okay, I'll let it run. Spoke to him this morning, and he said, I'm glad I didn't pair out my energy names yesterday, so I think I better catch another run here. So, so if you look at, for our American friends, these are some Canadian-based names that have generally Canadian-based focus. So Cardinal, if you look at that daily chart, you look at what it's done for the year, it's at $11, 52-week high is 12, came off of, $460 as its 52-week low. So again, just a Canadian-based name, focused here in Canada. Production is obviously going to be in Canada with production going into Canada and the U.S. Let's talk about another Canadian name here. This is KEL, Kelt Exploration. So it sounds like this is also going to be kind of in this same space impacted by the Middle East.
Yeah, exactly. It's a Canadian safe name, Northwest Alberta, Northeast BC. It's a good management team. I think I've mentioned this name before as well. Good management team that's done this kind of a few times over. Production was up 24% on the quarter year over year and sitting at, $880 with a high of $960 on the year. Went as low as $5. So it's a nice Canadian-based name that's going to be protected by what's happening outside of the region.
To talk about, you mentioned in your notes here, great ticker, and I think no one can disagree with how good this ticker is. IPO, In Play Oil, another Canadian oil company. Let's talk about this guy. Yeah,
again, Western Alberta production. They just raised $240 million in a bond issuance, but trading around $16.50, $17. Went as high as 18, as low as 6.5. I thought, again, just a fun ticker, but the fact that it's, again, a Canadian-based name, a little bit covered when you're producing for the North American market.
And one more here, actually, outside of Canada. TPL, Kazakh ticker actually here. What are your thoughts on this one? I guess this daily chart's a little bit more scattered on.
Yeah, this one was a interesting one because it's not one that would ever come up on any of our charts. I just thought I'd put it up there. It was one of the more active names yesterday, is what caught our attention. It was one of the top, whatever it was, most active, but went as low as 82 cents. So you got a double if you're sitting here at $1.60, went as high as $2. But it's a Kazakhstan natural gas based play. So if you're looking at a geopolitical, like what the world's going to do, this is one that sits over there. It's obviously close to Russia, China. So what does that do for the world? Where are they going to produce? So small, little different name if you want to just take a swing at something very outside the market.
Thank you so much here. Lots of investing ideas and lots of thoughts here on oil from Rahim Alani, friend of ours from OCI Inc. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
As always, thank you to Rahim, and thank you Adara as well. And well, speaking of oil, there was a slight volume spike in here. You're going to see, missing some data there. USO spiking a little bit higher. Actually, initially went to the downside. There was a bit of a headline that last night Iran was going to respond, on the verge of responding to the talk of the ceasefire violations, and Pakistan intervened. So I guess nipping that in the bud. Initially, that actually took us lower, and it was a bit of a spike you would have seen in the SPY. Now we're right back up at some of those highs. So we're still going to be a slave to the headlines, it does seem here. But not a huge move. If you look at what happened with the SPY in particular, we're able to sort of, you can barely even see it because of those wicks, but there you go. Yeah, you're able to go up about 60, 70 pennies and then right back to where we were before. So it doesn't really sustain the move, but again, this is sort of where we're at. Like every single time there's any kind of a volume spike, everyone's like, oh, what's the news, what's the news? If you don't move more than $1 in USO, it's probably something relatively small. Is a good way to maybe judge it, especially looking at the aftermath too. Like you get that initial volume spike, and then immediately it doesn't really follow up, and you don't actually hold the break of the high. So there it is. It was Iran's deputy. That's what I wasn't sure who it was. I didn't hear who said it. Iran's deputy foreign minister says they were on the verge of responding to the ceasefire violation last night, but Pakistan intervened. They didn't give the guy's name, so. But that was the story. Barely any movement, but notable that we are seeing oil futures retesting some of those highs. That's just going to be par for the course, I do think. I'm going to place some of that the same way as yesterday. Is every single time that we've been able to observe a top in USO, it's been lower highs forever in Boyle. So every single pop, I'm looking for the reversion. Trend break, and USO doesn't even have to do much. Like this was trending up and Boyle was trending down. So that just still holds true for me that there's relative weakness over there. But you know what? We should probably have a look at some upgrades and downgrades from the big screen again. I wonder, well, okay, fine. I can see there's some energy names on there.
All right, guys, welcome back. Let's take a look at some of the market analyst actions here this morning. We're going to kick things off with Zscaler, guys, getting the downgrade, going from a buy to a neutral weight here by BTIG. Zscaler down 2.8%. This name is down 61% off of its highs. So some of these cybersecurity names really taking it on the chin here, guys. TELUS is going to be the second on the list here. Price target being lowered from $21 to $17.50 by Canaccord. Also going from a buy to a hold here. GitLab also on the downgrade side as well. Down 1.7% here, going from a buy to a neutral weight here, guys. And then Shell has been on a monstrous run since the beginning of the year. You're up 31% in this name, going from buy to a neutral here. On the downgrade side, surprisingly so, down a little bit less than a fifth of percent. Now we're going to take a look at some of the upgrades here, guys. 1.4% here for Texas Instruments, and a price target increase from $215 to $250. Also going from a hold to a buy. Stifel is giving them the upgrade. Datadog also on the docket here, guys, 2.5%, closer to 2.6%, going from a neutral to a buy, also with a price target of $175. Now, need I say, probably the most popular name on the floor right now between Sharif and Sean is Marvell, up a staggering 4% again here today, guys. Price target increase from $105 to $150 by Barclays. And then we have Instacart as well, getting the upgrade 1.6% here in the morning with a price target of $50, guys.
It's already started.
Yeah. I like that, Marvell. We were going to do a Masters pool and we forgot.
Like
we could quickly do it because I don't know anybody who's doing anything. But yeah, there goes Marvell. I mean, I've been talking, look, all right, I made Joe send me this thing because I wanted to show. So it's been a disaster, right? But here's Marvell on one of the picks. It's up 38% since January. Like there's BBAI down 44%. And then the one that I'm most disappointed in is Eli Lilly. They're down 12%. But Marvell, forget about this portfolio. I'm down 6% overall, not great. But Marvell, right there, continues to go higher, man. I mean, I talked about this. I remember when Sharif picked Broadcom. I was like, I like the Marvell, I like the custom ASICs, I like the photonics, everything involved with Marvell. I mean, I was talking the same way about Marvell when it was down into the 60s, where we were buying this thing. We bought it again on the dips. And all I've been doing is talking positive about this name. So it's nice to see Marvell finally kicking a little bit higher, well above sort of that SoftBank level of 101, and now you're up to 120. It's just an absolute monster. Like, I don't want to take profit, but at some point, man, I think we got to ring that register. So if we can get anywhere into this, I mean, I'm not gonna, what I mean by taking profit is, if we can still hold like 70%, if we maybe take out 20, 25%, something like that of our position. We haven't done anything. We did it the last time. So went into here, and we took some profit into this area, and it was probably down into here about 99, and then ripped up. We're always gonna get something out in front of 100. I didn't wanna see this happen again, whoosh, whoosh. So we took a little bit out, averaged it back in there on earnings, and then blast higher for Marvell. So yeah, anyways, nice little upgrade there. We'll take that from Barclays and see if we can trade that today, maybe down to the 200 period moving average. The problem with all of this stuff,
oil.
Well, it's just gone so far so fast. That's all. It's just so extended out, right? It's like Intel. You brought that point up where yesterday Intel was flying and it was the number one stock and in the SP 500, and then all of a sudden right back down into where we're talking. Wait a minute, Intel. How come I never see Intel on that board? They are in the they are in the SP 500. Dropped down from 59.20 down into 57. So sometimes there's a little bit of a profit taken. Their charts look very similar. I mean, obviously Marvell has the high over here, but just this little move higher, 42 up to 57. You're up like 30% in a week or so on Intel. So got to take profits sometimes, and Marvell might be primed for that.
And if you're trying to take more profits than you were before, and you're an equity trader, therefore looking to scale, Prop Shop Trader is a multi-asset proprietary trading firm that's designed to remove the typical barriers that traders face. You can trade stocks without pattern day trading restrictions and no licensing requirements, while also accessing futures markets within the same environment. Prop Shop Trader offers both day trading and swing trading programs, giving traders the flexibility to manage multiple accounts and deploy different strategies. Why risk your own capital when you don't have to? Scan the QR code to unlock 60% off your first account, plus buy one, get one free. Get started today. You can scan the QR code you see out in front of you and get into the gladiator arena, which is what the market does seem like sometimes. Yeah. No, but I wasn't going to say anything different about Marvell. It's just, it's so similar to this. You've got one more leg until you get to that top, just like Intel does. You just have to zoom out farther for Intel because Marvell was last here at the beginning of last year, whereas Intel last time it was at these highs was 2021, so like 5 years ago. But it's a similar thing. You got one more leg to go until you get to the 125, and maybe there'll be a little bit of a pullback. It was a pretty big level back then, so it wouldn't surprise me if it caught some of the same thing. One of the other names that was on the upgrades and the downgrades. I don't know if it'll be a day trading stock. Probably not. Not a lot of volume on there. But there's been some disaster names that have some interesting looking symmetry. Datadog, for what it's worth, went from pretty much exactly $200 to more or less exactly 2 to 1. Gets cut in half. It's making a good higher low. There's a little mini breakout potential here. Unfortunately, I like these like 50 period breakouts, but when it's on 21,000 shares in the pre-market, the volume gets in the way of that. So this would have to be something that you wait for to get a little bit of juice here. But that whole 50 to the 200 look is potentially set up. Just don't like that pre-market volume. If you have no pre-market volume, you don't need to be there because there's plenty of things that are going to move. As we said, the aforementioned Intel. I see no way that this isn't one of the volume leaders today for better or for worse. So you sort of stick to that. Like that's going to move. Marvell's going to move. SNDK is going to move. We haven't even talked about like Sandisk got $811 and breaking out the highs. Is the market at the highs? Looks over. No, the market's red. SNDK is up 4% and just breaking yesterday's tops. And stop me if you've heard this before. Once again, making all-time highs. Another rocket ship. This is past, like, oh, take profit at the all-time high. No, this is a little bit different. It's already proving that every time you do that, you're just dead wrong. Don't forget the memory chip names. SanDisk is certainly leading the way again here. And you know what, Sharif, you missed some really good small cappers. I'll tell you that. There was I don't know if you're like, you short them now, but there was one that was a billion shares yesterday, and it was just failing trend down under VWAP. Like it would have been like the Luis special. I think it began with a C. I never remember. It was like a 31-cent stock. Oh yeah, insane. Insane.
Was it a Q?
It was doesn't matter. It was some kind of therapeutic company.
We'll get it.
Whatever. The chat usually remember those, but there's been a few that you missed out on, and there was another big one to the upside. That AI, the one that Joe had. AI?
AIXI.
AIXI.
Yeah.
You would have loved that one, Sharif.
Apparently, Joe's a small cap trader now too, because he's sending me like all these tickers in the morning. He's like, I trade small caps now. So that's going to be 2 of us on the midday show smashing small caps. So make sure to catch that. All right.
Yeah, before we move into the rundown, which we're going to do, of course, in a couple of minutes at 9 a.m., I want to talk about Amazon. AMZN is to the upside here, seeing a lot of people in our chat ask about it. And we had CEO Andy Jassy issue a very positive shareholder note talking about AI, Sharif.
And they're talking, Adira, about their actual AI monetization, not AWS, not the cloud division. They're talking about now their AI products having a $15 billion plus annual run revenue. That's for Q1 of 2026, and that's the first direct financial breakdown of their AI returns. Why is that important? Because they're spending up a storm, and the market has been questioning whether all this near-term spend would result in near-term revenue, and that, at least gives some solace to some investors. Andy Jassy emphasized AI revenue is ascending rapidly. His words, it indicates AWS is transitioning from a heavy investment phase with early payoffs in this AI cycle. And now their in-house chips, we're talking specifically about Trainium and Gravitron, now with a $20 billion annual run rate. That doubles from the $10 billion last year. And that has analysts thinking that they're going to start selling these chips outside because really there's a lot of demand for custom ASICs, as we've been talking about Broadcom and Marvell. This positions Amazon, though, as a vertically integrated AI infrastructure player, right? So you make the chips, you build the data centers, and you're operating the cloud division. That's kind of the nuts and bolts of vertical integration. And Adira, AWS generated almost $130 billion in revenue in 2025.
Big projections here. Do you guys like AMZN as a trade today?
Yes.
I mean, I have it written down as my #1 idea, so.
Well, if they asked the question, Amazon was one of the biggest. There were a lot of rejection, like candles at the open. Like you could show a million of them. Like Palantir, SoFi was a good example of like a false break rejection. I think Robinhood, and then most of those names that did this filled in a lot of the gap. Just to give you an example, like there you go, like fill in the gap. Well, it's more than filling in the gap. As I look at it, so that's an extreme example. But Amazon did not do that. Amazon bounced off 220, which is a pretty good level in its own right. When you go back to the daily, they bounced off prior highs on the daily, put in this lower high at 223, which is right in around that rejection price. As long as it holds on to this, you got a lot of people that would have been in the longs, and that rejection candle, gets some people to look short, fill in the gap, but the other side of it is that's some profit taking that can go into it. So I like that look. As long as you hold on to 223, you're good to go. Like it's this prior low in here. It does need to hold it, and we are slightly moving lower. This is one of those, I don't care how good the chart looks. If USO's at 128, if USO goes to 130, then none of that's going to matter. But as long as USO's doing nothing, which it isn't right now, then 223 looks really good for a dip buy on Amazon. The word I want to use is, no matter what your setup is that you like, you don't want to get obstinate about it. Because if you get too stubborn, that's a fancy way of saying stubborn, and you ignore a possible, if we get an all-day uptrend in USO like we did yesterday, even if it's a gentle one, then that's going to weigh on any long idea you had. There was maybe one stock in tech that was able to withstand that, and it didn't even do it all day, and it was Intel. But most of everything else eventually succumbed to the fact that we were trending higher. As long as we're doing nothing, great. Stick to your normal setup, stick to your plan of action. But once oil decides, it is picking a direction, you've got to go with it. There's no fighting that trend.
Yeah, no, I have Amazon written down here as a long 100%. I mean, if we can get it back into this area from yesterday, it's going to be the #1 idea. I'm just working on the note right now. I wrote down 222 as the bottom. I'm looking right here. Yesterday's high around 222.80, 222.75. Some sort of a dip buy opportunity in Amazon. We might not get it at all. I mean, Amazon's been such a monster from that 200 level. What a good dip buy opportunities those were down here. I mean, this is kind of the way I feel about NVIDIA, except for NVIDIA's been doing this for 8 months. Amazon did it for about a month and a half and then finally got going. And I think the party's just started, right? Jassy likes to talk about the business. He's talking about how successful right now their chip business is. So we already know what the retail side, that's pretty consistent. We know that AWS is still rolling, and now we get some more positive talk here from Jassy. So I like what they're doing, and I think Amazon's a winner. Down to 222, 50s, something. We're just gonna have to wait. Like, I will take this trade. You saw me yesterday with Palantir. We got crushed early when it started just to keep going down and break levels. So let's be patient, wait to see if that winds up happening today. It's looking like our first take might be around 223, but I love Amazon here. It's one of the best ideas that I have for today. So Amazon on the long.
Let's talk futures here ahead of our morning rundown.
676 is where we closed out yesterday on the SPY. We're down 0.25%, but I want to bring everybody's attention to this inverse head and shoulders pattern that developed during that sell-off. So the number one thing is that the inverse head and shoulders was preceded by a downtrend because it is a reversal pattern. We have a neckline, a very clear neckline at 660 with the low being at 630. So if you project the measured move from the low to the break of the neckline, we are looking for 690 here on SPY. We've gotten up, I think yesterday we were dancing with around 678 at the highs. We got to get through 680 before we see 690, but good breakout here. Let's see if we can hold that 670 area today as the support.
For everything that we're talking about, we're going to take a look here at the Trader TV Live watch list. Be sure to subscribe. It goes right to your inbox. It is free, and it's got all the content you need, economic data, if there's Fed speech, et cetera, do not miss it. And again, free to you. We also have Sharif's morning note available to our subscribers, so check out both of these tools. In the meantime, let's take a look at META. This was one of the biggest intraday movers in terms of news by far yesterday. An interesting catalyst that's worth unpacking with their MewSpark model.
MewSpark is an interesting name, Adair. It's their first major AI model under the new Superintelligence Lab. We're talking about that group spearheaded by former CEO of Scale AI, Alexander Wang. Cost the company a pretty penny. Models designed to be smaller, faster, and more efficient, but, still capable of handling, complex reasoning tasks. It's built after a full rebuild of Meta's AI stack after the much maligned Llama 4 and the paused Avocado that we talked about earlier, I guess in the month. Meta is not positioning, though, this MewSpark as a frontier leading model, but more of a high efficiency, scalable alternative. And the focus here is on practical deployment and integration rather than chasing, these raw benchmarks. Often we hear, oh, this model outperformed this model in this category or that category. They just want to make it user friendly, and you kind of get the feeling that that's what they're going for here. They're also testing paid API access for MewSpark. Initially, it's going to be with select partners, and then they're going to try to monetize with consumers, but it's going to power all of Meta's products. We're talking Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger, and the standalone Meta AI Padera. So they're really banking a lot on this Mews.
There's actually another AI headline that just came out I have to talk about. INTC pushing higher after announcing a long-term partnership with Google to improve AI infrastructure using Xeon CPUs and custom IPUs. AMD also popping on this. So what's the look, guys? Lots of AI across the board.
Yeah, oh man, unbelievable. It's 2 days in a row here for Intel. What are you going to do? And AMD did get a sympathy pop as well. I didn't see anything specific for AMD. It was just the Intel headline. So I think AMD's move was sympathy, and it's right back into 230. But as far as Intel goes, and we can get back to Meta in a quick little second, but ultimately Intel did end up tagging, I think it got almost exactly to that 2021 high. Almost precisely. No, sorry, not the high. This lower high near 61. 65 is where you got to get to. So 61, 62. I saw some wicks up there, but I didn't really see any bids above 61. I liked, whatever. I mean, a 58 breakout, you don't know news is going to hit randomly at 9 o'clock, but the 58 level looking pretty good if it can hold on the back end. Let's see this prior high at 59. Obviously adjusting on the fly here with Intel, because I was like, if 59 didn't hold, I was going dip buy hunting at support, and once again, Intel decides, we're just going to go ham. Was down 2%. What are you going to do?
It's
the second day in a row.
I wrote the same note 2 days in a row, and I said, oh, Intel has this great news flow. And then all of a sudden today, another news flow there with Google. But we do have news here. Medicus focuses on accelerating the clinical development of novel and potentially disruptive therapeutics assets that serve large target markets. Here is this biotech company, Medicus, under ticker MDCX. Right now they have two portfolio companies, SkinJect, which is developing a non-invasive regime to treat skin cancer, and Antev, which is developing Teverlex for acute urinary retention and cardiovascular high-risk prostate cancer. What's interesting is Medicus looks to advance therapies through phase 2 studies while pursuing licensing or strategic partnerships with larger pharmaceutical companies that can move these therapies through late-stage development and, of course, commercialization. It's a collaborative and very capital-efficient development model. As clinical studies become more complex, Medicus provides the structure and support needed to help bring these innovative therapies to patients who are waiting. It's definitely a company worth watching. Ticker MDCX. All right, so I know we talked a little bit about Meta there and a little bit about Intel and a little bit about this whole news flow. I mean, Meta yesterday, they've gotten some good deals. Today they make another one here with CoreWeave, so that gets locked up, you know. Good opportunity. I feel like to trade Meta is once you get to key support levels. Like yesterday, Meta was on the downslide, then boom, nice move higher there into 630. So I think you're gonna wait for that. We saw OB yesterday take a 630 short, waiting for a retracement. When this thing trends, it really starts to go. So right now the trend is obviously higher. So you're going to look for some key levels. There's a 200 period break and a VWAP hold, boom. Then we held VWAP all afternoon. You're now underneath that. Would like to see this make a move higher, and then we can maybe drop into this level of 622, see if we can hold, and then pop goes the weasel. So I don't know what to do now. We're starting to go a little lower here. Let's let this market open up. Meta's not something that you want to sit around and wait for. I think you just let it trend, and then play it off that. So let's just figure out where Meta wants to go today. I think this is a decent break area too, man. The 627 break there, and then get back to 630 if you're going to take a quick couple dollar scalp if you're on a prop floor or something like that. That's a nice little move up to 630. Then we see if that winds up breaking. But you could see it's not. I forget what the story was exactly on the midday yesterday, but there it goes popping all the way through. And no matter, even if you missed it, right, you could have got this even 10 minutes after and it still trended higher. So this is what Meta wants to do. It's definitely a beat up name that a lot of traders probably have a little bit of FOMO in, that they've missed sort of that bottom. I was already loaded up in Meta. There's not much I can do about it. But right into there, 580, any kind of dip buy opportunities. We were just there 2 days ago. That would be great. So let's let the market settle down. We're still not at the 50-period moving average, but a break of 630 today on a positive tape, I think can happen, even though we're only 621. But watch out for that high there. And then, yeah, maybe a dip opportunity into 618. I don't know, that's sort of this area here as well with the 200-period moving average. With such a big move yesterday in the middle of the day, very possible that gives some back. I don't know if it's worth jumping in right off the open.
Agreed.
Let's move on, guys. Second headline here on our watch list is going to involve oil. I mean, there's so many headlines here back and forth. We did hear that Iran was about to, according to them, actually strike yesterday, but Pakistan talked them down. We know this ceasefire, Sharif, overall has been super tenuous. What's the latest headlines?
Yeah, this one here signaling that President Trump says U.S. forces are going to remain deployed in and around Iran, at least for the foreseeable future. Despite this, well, let's see, 2-week ceasefire. They warned, though, or he warned, I should say, that any violation of the agreement would trigger, quote, bigger, stronger military response. A 2-week ceasefire was brokered by Pakistan, as Adair mentioned there, halting about 6 weeks of conflict, give or take. Israel, though, does continue intense strikes in Lebanon, with Iran warning that ongoing attacks in Lebanon may make peace negotiations unreasonable. And obviously the fees that ships have to pay, apparently in Bitcoin, if passing the Strait of Hormuz. England coming out and saying they're looking for a fee-free passage of the Strait. So we'll have to see how this all works out. The logistics are getting more complicated, Adara.
Yeah, these tensions continue. What's the look, guys?
Well, right now, USO is pretty flat. There's been a couple of mini breaks of the high. That's missing this little dip down in, but mini breaks of the high you can see on the black chart there. And ultimately, as far as I'm concerned, I'm gonna be very patient, because there was a good striking point yesterday a little bit of a chop and then a really big, it got really condensed at the open and then broke out the trend. And when that happened, that was the exact moment, like Intel made its pullback as strong as it was able to do that turn and come back into VWAP. It was so strong all morning long, and that one good pullback you had was because of the actual move in oil. So I'm using this as as an indicator. Anytime it pops up and I catch a top and it fades, I'm shorting oil. But if we do one of these trend breaks like this, then it's risk on short on like a tech name. The one that I like today is, oddly enough, there's so many names with positive news. And then Adara pointed this one out to me that SMCI was trying to latch on to the Terafab bandwagon with a tweet that didn't really have any substance to it. I'm like, yeah, and they failed 24. So I know this is it's a weak stock. It's weaker than the market. I think I like this one for a bit of a fade. But you're gonna want to see USO do that trend break. The fact that it's giving already consolidating, it's not going to go sideways. When it was doing this in the middle of the morning, we were saying for a half an hour, it's not going to hold to this the entire time. When it goes, you got to be ready to pounce. And that's what happened yesterday. I'll look for the same thing, but I'm not going to sit there trying to predict which direction it's going to break out of that. Let it make the break, and then you can just simply react. It breaks higher out of a consolidation. Great, that's going to be good for the shorts in other aspects of the market.
I think that's a good way of putting it there. We talked about oil being up 4.5%, 5% right now. And yeah, I mean, the Strait apparently is open or it's not. So we're just going to have to wait for confirmation on everything. And I actually think the market could be a relatively, kind of consolidating day today until we wait for just bigger headlines. So yeah, for me, kind of the same story here. If we zoom out maybe into a 5-minute chart and have another look, I mean, yesterday, a pretty strong day there to the upside as we had that huge move down. We were down 18% at one point, and the day down 15.5%. And now you're back up again, another couple percentage points, as we said here today. So I would just, there's I don't know how much this matters. The 200 period moving average right now at 129. So, that could be a level that we wind up looking at there as well. But I would just say, just go long on the top break. If you can break this 128, 128.25 area, I think it's just like any other stock, right? I mean, when momentum picks up, and the thing is, you're going to also have at that point, if you take the highs, like right now we're at VWAP. So it's hard for me to look technically and say, I think this looks, like a good long from here. It's just, let's see if we can rush that top and then maybe come back in, fill up around here, and then make another move. I just want to see a respect right here, these levels that we're going to be currently opening at. Remember, oil doesn't matter if the NASDAQ opens or not. Oil is going to move the way it moves. So you're looking to potentially break back down below this 8 a.m. level right there of 126.75. So that's the low right there. If the NASDAQ really runs on some sort of good news, then obviously oil will probably take a back seat and start to go to the downside. I think it's a little safer play today to look at the equity indexes than to look at oil. There's a lot of good stories out there. We did have a big day yesterday in the equity markets. It might be a little safer spot until we get sort of some sort of a directional movement in oil. Yesterday was so far down, battled back all afternoon, only to see it up another 2% today. So I'm going to be a little bullish on oil, would rather be buying dips or taking out this top break of 128. So I'm more bullish than bearish today on USO and energy in general. So XOM, Occidental, all those plays. Just more bullish than not. I just think the market may have a little bit of a calm day, and we know that oil is still a problem. I mean, there's hundreds of millions of barrels just sitting around right now in the Strait. So until that gets all settled out. And then plus China still's got to get involved. And now apparently, like yesterday, we talked about the ceasefire, like Lebanon's not involved. So now there's like a whole bunch of back and forth where we could have
reaction. They are and they aren't.
Right, like Iran could say enough is enough. We don't even know how volatile Israel could possibly be as well. So I'm still looking long on oil for now.
Yeah, long on oil. We're going to talk here about CoreWeave now, but before that, Neil mentioned this SMCI post implying that they were involved in Terafab, so I have to show this. They basically just mentioned some of the companies involved in Terafab without naming Terafab, then posted a random construction site and said #made in the USA. This is also in response to a tweet from their CEO, which was basically begging Lip-Bhutan and Elon Musk to let him be involved. So yeah, weird post. Just be aware there's absolutely zero confirmation of their involvement in Terafab, but Neil mentioned it, so I wanted to bring that up. Let's talk CoreWeave, though. This is another, much like Terafab, an AI-related catalyst here. CRWV announcing a massive deal with Meta valued at $21 billion, and then the stock dropped right after on this convertible note offering.
Yeah, $3 billion in convertible senior notes due in 2032 vis-a-vis a private offering. Initial buyers will have the option to purchase an additional $450 million within 13 days, bringing the potential total raise to $3.45 billion. They will be senior unsecured obligations, and they're fully guaranteed, according to the company, by their subsidiaries. However, the notes are convertible either into cash, shares, or a mix at CoreWeave's discretion, and that right there introduces future liquidity dilution risk. And the conversion pricing and the interest rate will be determined at the time of pricing. And we know why they're raising heavy capital needs for AI infrastructure build out, likely funding GPU clusters, likely funding data center expansion. The market typically interprets these large convert deals as growth positive long term, but they do have near-term supply pressure. Separately, though, we've seen CoreWeave report during earnings that basically all their servers, their GPUs are booked solid, the new and the old, so demand seems to be there, and the bottleneck, Adara, seems to be supply.
Yet again, the context here, about half an hour before announcing the convertible senior note, they strike a $21 billion infrastructure or cloud capacity deal with Meta through December 2032. What's the look, Neil?
Well, he's back, and that means the note is back. And if you were paying attention to Sharif's note, which, by the way, if you remember, you get this every single day that he's here for $5 a month, you're going to see a little something on all of those stories, and that is some technical levels, one of which is the only place I'm looking on CoreWeave, and whether or not it gets there, I think it has a decent chance. It's that current support level, or consolidation level, but support level, 88 to 89. It's a prior high in here. That's where the support was in yesterday's trade. It's double barrel. If it was only good news, maybe this would be different, but I think when you throw in the offering, it's just one of those where allow the market to determine where it's going to come back in, and the first significant level is down and around this 88, 89. The reason why some 89 is this prior high, and it was a consolidation in the afternoon in between those same prices. You're all trend down going into it for CoreWeave. It looks like it's made a good bottom here on the daily, a really good technical bottom, because you have the IPO initial high after a few days, a breakaway price, and all kinds of support at that same price area. But it just hasn't been able to, push through and continue to make some higher highs off of it. So I do like the structure overall, if it can hold 88, 89 today. But you still have, this still has a little bit of work to do. I'm going to do this for you. Little bit of work to do to sort of take out the top here and really extend it. This is a key day for CoreWeave. If it wasn't for the fact that Intel was going ham every single day and AMD was following suit, I think there might end up being a couple more exciting places to be in the chip space, but it might test that 88 at the open before we get into Intel, and then that's what I'll be looking at. Oh goodness, it's like we go from something that's positive to something that's negative, back and forth, right? Because oil going higher is negative for the markets. Meta was a positive story. And now we got to go talk about Tesla. That was a dog. No other way to say it. That was a huge dog yesterday.
Tesla, might have been a dog yesterday, that's for sure, but there is potentially some optimism here. We know that Elon Musk has shifted the company's strategies away from EVs in recent months and years, but looks like they might be trying to come back in a pretty big way here, Sharif.
They're trying, Adara, developing, according to the reports, we'll see if these are true, we've heard this before, smaller, cheaper SUV, not a sedan. It's going to be positioned below the Model Y, expected to be about 15% smaller and lower cost, I guess, better be. Potential timeline, according to the reports, again, nothing verified here, 2026 to 2027. We know for a fact that Tesla had previously scrapped a lower cost EV program back in 24. I think it was called the Model 2 or the Model Q. And they're bringing back focus now on volume-driven EV sales growth. That's what the market's looking at. And that's how their stock, at least for the moment, is reacting to the lower EV sales, despite the fact that Robotaxi, Optimus, everything built in there, as well as their energy division. But the move has suggested that Tesla does recognize the limits of relying solely on autonomy and robotics for near-term and intermediate-term revenue. The new SUV aims to bridge that gap and kind of reignite demand, especially with EV sales growing. So Tesla's earlier goal, Adira, a 50% annual delivery growth, has certainly slowed. Maybe this can help.
What are your guys' thoughts on this catalyst?
Not helping. I mean,
Tesla.
yeah, it's dead flat right now. The market's flat as well. So like, you're not expecting it to be like gangbusters. But when you consider how far it's down, or how far it was down yesterday, it's off a very good, like, I can't call it 3-day support. If it holds today, then you'll have a third day of this 340 area holding. But it's got a bit of a double bottom in this recent downtrend. And in the downtrend, like, it's been catching bids and then sort of returning back into the highs. So you'd like to think it could do that. But when you have this bad of a day and you hold the low and you have a positive catalyst, I'm usually expecting you'd at least be 45, 46, up a point even. So I'm not excited. If it can get through 350 and has this gap to work with, I'll get excited about that. But not when it's dead flat on this. It's a little disappointing. You still have the support for the last 2 days, so maybe it has a chance to bounce off of those. But I'll do a pass on that one. And out of the other big, like, beaten up, rejected name yesterday, Palantir, I was looking for a pop and fade on this. That's actually already broken 140. So it's getting further and further away from that 145 potential pop and fade. If it doesn't get up there, I might have to look at pre-market highs, like that kind of a thing early on. But Tesla, that's going to be a pass for me today unless you can somehow magically break 350, which isn't seeming likely.
Yeah, I think right into here, I think this is going to be a bottom for Tesla. Giving, if anything, this $300 area some sort of love right into here. So, if I'm thinking that this is going to be some sort of a bottom for them, I mean, it's already gotten crushed to the downside. I mean, we do know that SpaceX is coming. We heard about that in June, so hopefully that will happen. And then Tesla can maybe find its way and get back to the upside with some creative accounting, or I don't know what exactly is going to happen there. But yeah, this little level that I'm just looking at, eyeballing right there, we're only above, for about a week and a half, and then we haven't gotten going at all really since. It tried to hold the 200 period moving average, didn't do that. So this channel, once broken, now you're sort of in, so just see what I'm doing here, kind of building these channels. So right in there, now we got another channel that we're sort of in the middle of. So I don't, to be all the way down here is another story. I mean, that's still down 50% from here to get there. So I kind of like the dip buy opportunities in Tesla. I mean, you've seen Amazon pick up off the lows. You've seen Google get into 280. Now it's 330 or 320. Meta down into that 580 area or 520 area, now to 620. Amazon 200 up to 220. Intel, Nvidia from 165, 170 to 185. Like, sometimes levels are going to matter. And I think that this between 300 and 320 is really going to be sort of the lows. What I'm hoping for. Will we get some wicks down into here potentially, but I don't think you'll be upset buying between 3 to 320. So, if there is a potential for this to be the next sort of name to get going, we saw Cathie Wood come in and buy 14 million shares the other day as well. So not that we're following her. We've talked about that with Brian Shannon, one of the greatest. He had some sort of a stat that she was like one of the greatest money destroyers of all time. But there we go, Tesla to the downside. I like the stock. I think it might be worth nibbling in and around here, but I do think that the lows to come in and around that 300 to 320 area. So for me on Tesla today, it's up 0%. Hard to love it, but if we do get that move down, man, we've had an accelerated move to the top end after making bottoms. So let's see if the market wants to participate with that kind of a narrative here today. Tesla on my mind, but not overly. Bitcoin's trying to break 71,000. By the way, right here on the low side. So, watch out for that one to happen right now, 71,000, and that's a key level right here as well that we sort of bounced off of before with IBIT. So that's going to be another name to look at. I know we have Marvell next, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about crypto. Watch this loss right there. Lose this $40.15, potentially back into this area, 39 and change. So watch out there, $40.15 coming in on IBIT. All right, man, a stock I've never heard of, so let's go find the story on Marvell.
Marvell's actually, of course, has been on watch a lot as of late with that NVIDIA announcement going back to March 31st of 2026. But Sharif, today they got a pretty nice upgrade from Barclays.
They did, from equal weight to overweight, Adara, and they raised the price target to 150 from 105. The upgrade is driven by what Barclays is saying, growing confidence in the AI-driven optical networking demand, not just ASICs chips, which, of course, they are makers of, or designers of, I should say. The narrative is shifting, though, apparently away from custom AI chips, ASICs, in other words, now towards optical interconnect and networking inside data centers, with the company expecting their interconnect revenue to grow about 50% in fiscal 27, and optical networking revenues projected to grow about 90% year over year over the next 1 to 2 years. So a lot of possible growth there. Their optical components, though, are very critical for high-speed interconnects, specifically between the GPUs and the AI clusters. And we saw Elon Musk come out with a very novel approach back in 24 when he was able to connect about 100,000 H100s, keeping them all in sync. And that was kind of a technical development at the time. Now it's gotten even more complicated. And they've made advances and acquisitions in that regard. They acquired Celestial AI for $3.25 billion. Exxon they picked up for $540 million. And as you mentioned, Adara, NVIDIA threw $2 billion their way. So they've got the capital possibly to even acquire more.
You guys marveling at Marvell today?
Ungame there for sure. It's the good Marvell, not the bad one that absolutely bombed in the theaters. Although I think they call that, you know what, Marvells. Figure it out, Disney. If it gets to one, we kind of already talked about Marvell a couple of times, but I still feel the same way. Like if it gets up to 125, it's a triple top on the daily from last year in January. So that I think that's like a look for the reversion kind of level, whether it happens today or potentially tomorrow. It could get there today. Tomorrow, I think one extra day like this, I think you get up to that kind of level. Yeah, throw the super chats up there. We got like 5 minutes till the open very quickly. We got, I believe it's son of Daniel Cheese Tycoon. Okay, so we got the Cheese Tycoon, and now it's the son of our favorite Cheese Tycoon, talking about break wave tanker shipping. You went big on it the other day, and oh boy, take another look at the chart today. That is parabolic. Parabolic, parabolic, and more parabolic. Incredibly thinly traded. It's done 8,000 shares with a ridiculously large spread. The spread on this stock right now is $17. So that tells you the liquidity, but that just means they can move more. And Janie, Art, SNDK, why not on your watch list, friends? Well, everything can't make a watch list. Sometimes it's a matter of like a catalyst. Like, yes, it can be up, but does it have a specific catalyst going with it? Something is just trending up, and you can have it on like your individual, I have to watch it. But if there isn't like, this is the news story that's going on. Like Intel just had a news story, right? Like Marvell's got a story to go with it. Yeah, SanDisk, incredibly impressive. Another all-time high made today, well through the 800 level, up 4 points into a flat market. This is on watch every day if you're trading momentum. There's no question about it.
All right, the upgrade on Marvell. I mean, Sharif already nailed it, man. I was, we sort of highlighted some of the acquisitions that they made, and what sort of it added to their portfolio and to their abilities. So I love the story from NVIDIA dishing $2 billion into them, making sure that they don't have to, go out and raise. So that was a good opportunity there for Marvell. And as Neil mentioned, I think we will. Getting out something at these highs, which I believe are all-time highs for Marvell. We'll have to go back and double check them. But I think getting something out around that 125, and I was just showing you, that looks like that will be it. Let me see if I go over to a monthly chart. Marvell was one of these little baby stocks for a while. So, there it was, $5-10, so we're right back up into here again right now. So, what's been not even round tripped. We went all the way back down. You follow this 50-period moving average. I've been really, thanks to Jim Cramer as well. This guy loved this stock, and I've been loving it for a long time. So Marvell, nice to see this one finally starting to break out. And we get one right at least with MRVL up 38% since mid-January. So, and still very, very, the reason why I liked it was the market cap, right? Marvell is still just a little baby there. Let me check out what its market cap is exactly. And there's more to go, right? We still do have Broadcom is another great stock. Oh, ex-dividend day here in one day. Okay, let's go over the details. I just wanted to see what its market cap was there. 100 billion. You know, so they could even get picked up by somebody. And we did talk about SoftBank potentially having interest in the past in Marvell. So that could come through one more time again. Imagine these guys catching a bid, then you're at 150 and you don't even know what to do with it. So Marvell, 1 minute to go. Apple, by the way, what a fugazi. I mean, every time there's bad stories about Apple, you just need to buy this damn stock, man. The best consumer product ever created, and that's just by stats. And here it goes, man. Upside 260, trying to break higher right now through 261. And we'll just have to wait to see what happens with Apple. Any kind of pullback into 258, you gotta like that. I was looking at the imbalance locator. We only have 30 seconds.
There were small buys on.
Yeah,
there was a small buy on Apple that paired. There was a small buy in Nvidia. There was a small sell on Intel. Oops. I think Amazon was 100,000.
It was there.
Maybe really small imbalances. Off the open, slight move down on USO. We're going to open about $1 from the high, so that gives a little bit of pressure to the upside as we ring the bell for the second last time this week. It is Thursday. Let's get it started. We didn't talk too much about IBIT, but I still think this one is a 40-80 with a rejection level. Going to wash that off the open, although it hasn't moved that much at the open. The last couple of sessions, USO's doing nothing. The first move I see is Palantir is not going, it's going the other way. Yeah, there's no pop and fade if you just drop. So it's through yesterday's lows, just hit 138 here on PLTR. That's the only thing that really made too much of a move at the open I see. Intel still trending down, giving up some of that move after the Alphabet headline. Holding that 58 level is going to be key off the opening range. But that's all trend down. They're just selling the news.
Yeah, I'm going to give this a couple minutes because there are some stocks that are going oppo here a little bit. Like, so Amazon went all the way up to 225 on that imbalance, coming right back into VWAP. Could have been a buy. Look, yesterday I sat there on Palantir and, took this trade and took it well against me right here as this was happening. Obviously, yesterday's was a little bit of a different beast because we don't have the action today in the market either. We did talk about CoreWeave, but I wasn't here. The 90 long I really like. That's on the watch list, and it just bounced off 90 right there. So potentially a great little call on that one. The sticky note is now out. Oh, I didn't even get to show it to you guys. There it is there. It's Amazon long, CoreWeave long, Intel 5750, and watch out for 4725, yesterday's low in the NASDAQ. But as you can see, CoreWeave, too bad, man. I mean, I didn't want to take something right off the jump, but we wrote down $90. It's at 92.50 right now. Nice little bump up there for CRWV, but it's just going mad anyways, so we have to let it settle. It's only 1 minute in. Intel as well goes down. What did I write down for Intel? 57.50 long. It gets to 58.25. There's your 57.50, just a pre-market level. We'll see if that can come back in right now as well. But I don't have any positions yet. NASDAQ looking to extend higher right there. So we wrote down NASDAQ long, but unfortunately on the TQs, it just hasn't given us anything yet. So that's what I'm doing now, and I really like Amazon. Just trying to let this thing settle down just a bit and see if we can get a level on AMZN.
I mean, it's funny you said that the NASDAQ is flying higher. You got Microsoft breaking low of the day. That's not real. That's real. Yesterday's low's 371. So the software names are again getting pumped. You've got Microsoft down. You've got Palantir.
Palantir's getting crushed.
Don't even look at... CRM, without even looking, is probably down a couple points.
CRM was at that low break spot.
That's probably that flat bottom break. This is just an assumption. It might not be true.
It broke,
yeah, it absolutely getting smoked. So you're getting a little bit. No, you're getting more destruction in the software names. That's the best way to put it. But still no action on oil futures. Like USO, very much in that consolidation. It didn't really break out until 10:15. Like that was the pounce spot. Like I didn't get my best trade until there was an actual move in oil to react to. So if that's going to be the case, you can try to be patient about it. The market went higher initially,
so early.
but IBIT didn't even go anywhere to the upside. Now it's starting to get dragged back in. I thought we could press into some of these highs. All right, I'll be a joiner and just work off this pre-market resistance at 40.40 there. Hey, 40.40.
40-40 club.
Well, it used to be a big deal until Shohei came around.
Yeah, now nothing is a big deal. It's like 170-70 happening. Yeah, so I'm going to watch out for Intel right now. Just looking to break 60. If we break 60, we could take it, man. Well, we won't take this for very long. If it does break and gives it right back, we can just almost punch out immediately. I was actually going to go like 59.74s or something like that on a break. Just want to give this thing a quarter. Let's just see if the juice wants to be back here. Let the juice loose here on Intel. So if that does break through 60, I think it might be worth a little bit of a take there, just to give this day a little bit of a bump. And see if it wants to go there. Okay, so that was that little level. So I will be in. So that could be my first position at any time. Amazon, one more check on them. You know, I had written down 222. Okay, it looks like we're going to get into Intel. No, maybe not. I had written down 222 there. That's probably a little low. We looked at yesterday's sort of areas of concern. That was the high yesterday. So 223 is now 223.50. 223.50 is where your 200 period moving average is. Checking back on Intel, nothing going on there. You mentioned Palantir getting cranked. Tesla not doing anything. If Palantir is getting hit and some of these cult names want to go to the downside.
Though.
Yeah, I know, but Tesla's... Yeah, okay. Tesla's still flat on the day anyway, so we don't have to worry about it. And then let me see if Palantir has made a bounce back. Look, yesterday, see, wow. Like, talk about learning your lesson. Like yesterday, we still were fine at the end of the day, but, you know, gave a big dent to start with as this sort of happened. And we never even caught a bid pretty much at all until we finally broke through. And that's not even a big bid, the 25 period moving average. So right now we got, wow. Oh, gosh, damn. About that vacation. Vacation canceled. How do I phone my family? That was a nice move to the downside. No, just joking. 134 right here. Nice crush on PLTR. Intel's going to be coming in through 60. Better.
Marvell did just tag 120.
Okay, well, I need 125.
It's hard to, look, when you see Palantir doing this, okay, so fine. Like, it didn't pop in. It didn't give you any kind of a pop. If there is still that
Intel
support,
turned around.
129, 130. Is a big triple bottom. It's actually a little bit lower than that, but I think you start looking at this if it gets down into that 130 level, because that's monster support. I mean, it's the only support on the chart for Palantir. Look at as far as I'm concerned. Amazon, that prior high. Whoops, that's the daily chart. Amazon, that prior high from yesterday, it's not anywhere close to it. 222.75. That's why I like 223. It's basically just right there, still going sideways.
Try one more time
on Amazon. Apple was running. I have a wick on that one too. Apple ran into 260 and that's starting to head back. So this loses VWAP with what's going on in the IGV. It might need some kind of a drop in USO to save this market from a little bit of disaster, but oil futures are flat out not moving right now. All right. Not even close.
59, I'm going to try it one more time. We did get stopped out of that first break higher, and then it basically stopped out right at our spot. So let's give it just one more try. It's just a small take. We're not even running this with huge shares or anything right now on Intel. Just trying to see if it wants to get going. We just faked out at $60. I want to see it go one more time. We got as high as like 60.20s or something like that. Let's just see if it goes, and then we're going to get out. Okay, here it goes. One more tick down, and we're out of this one at 59.69. We'll punch out of it. We just don't need to be in this in case this market completely falls on its face. But not a big hit. Well worth a shot here on Intel, I believe, anyways. So let's just give it a little bit of a go here. See, damn, just trying to give this a go. But it doesn't look like it wants to go. So if the NASDAQ can help, that'd be fine. But right now, Intel having a problem there at $60. Thought that there was going to be that good story there with Google. Doesn't seem to be mattering that much. We'll see if we get something out right around $60 and then let this thing float back up into 60.50 and maybe get it out there. But well worth the risk on this stock. I think so anyways right now on Intel. But giving it up if we take that low. So almost out right now. There it goes. So see ya. We tried it twice, just no moss on that one as it does not work. I don't mind the trade, and a little bit of an L there on Amazon to start the day. Okay, we are getting... Amazon. Intel, go ahead. Yeah, are you on Amazon?
I just got into IBIT at around VWAP, but Amazon just broke this low, so it is headed into this prior high from yesterday at that 222.75. But I did just take into IBIT. Palantir actually might put in a green candle, by the way.
Oh, what? Okay.
Yeah. So a little bit of a not topping tail, but kind of pull back into some prior lows in front of VWAP. So short, give it to the opening range top there on IBIT. If we trend down, fantastic. But there's some good news for the market here, and that would be, it's hard to tell, but USO is in a very slight downtrend here. Like slight, it's trying to break this 127. Every dollar has mattered. It failed the top. Now it's trying to break down a little bit. As long as it holds the line, not good, I suppose, if you're looking for longs. But there's a slight downtrend worth watching there on USO. It took a while for it to make its first move. Okay. By the way, yesterday, I didn't say this part, 40 is a big level. That was the bounce spot for me yesterday. And then the next one is 39.8. I'm looking for reversions on IBIT because we're above 70,000. So any short, I am looking for a turn off of either 40 or 39.80. So that's probably as far as I will end up taking it, unless something crazy happens here in USO. We're still very much sideways in oil futures.
We did take a new position on Amazon, so we take 50 cents, 40 cents right now on it, and just trying to wait to see if anything's going to happen with Intel. But there it goes. So we do have the long at 66s. We just got out at O's. So I guess that was 37 cents or so, 34 cents. So we'll see. Okay, here it goes. And a little bit of an extension play now for AMZN. And again, the number one stock that we had written down here was Amazon for the long, yet we slip into Intel. But that's okay. Nice move there now. We'll take another piece out. We'll see if we can get above 220. That's 224.50. So we're almost there. Okay, let's take another piece out right now. Boom. There it goes. Nice move higher there for Amazon. We're back into the club, and there it is. It's a dollar club right now on AMZN to start with. And again, just stick with the stocks that you want. But I wanted Intel, so I don't have a problem with that. Let me check on what Intel is doing right now. So yeah, we got out of the way, man. We tried it. We tried to break higher. Does not work. We flip it up, and now we have $1.30 right now. Fire off the hot dog can, and watch out for these glizzies. They're firing off everywhere right now. 222.86 right there. Boom. On Amazon. That's exactly what it was. We said we're waiting for the 200-period moving average, and there it is right there. AMZN. What's up, Adara?
I want to talk about some strength in these optoelectronics or optics plays today. LITE, and granted, slightly lower volume, just under 1 million shares traded on the day. This thing is at new all-time highs around $950 after opening near $910. No catalyst in this that I could find. Same with Coherent, which is in a similar space. So some of these isolated tech plays are doing quite well. And then you have CRM, which is at multi-year lows right now, trying to bounce off of 170. So tech story, very different, though there do seem to be certain subsectors that are performing quite well this morning. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adara. And I'm looking at Intel right now trying to hold this volume-weighted average price. If it's not going to pull back into the breakout again, then the higher low will keep it on that trend line. As long as USO is going down, which it is, it hasn't broken the 127 yet. I think we can get a little bit of a bounce. 127 in right here. If it breaks this downside, then I think the longs start to look pretty darn good. And this is almost closing above VWAP. Come on, this candle will close in just a couple of seconds. Yeah, USO is dropping, but we haven't really talked too much about the metals. Worth mentioning here, silver is leading the markets, breaking out per se. So we're not seeing 66.5, which was a good level, no dip in silver. And you're looking at a lot of strength there. I'm assuming those miners are going to be looking good for our good friend in the chat, who is all over, I think it is SILJ. Silj. Yeah, it's Silj, SILJ, which hopefully should be running for you. Got to be at those highs today. So only an IBIT, that's kind of trying to gravitate toward the low, but I like that 40 for an exit and then rinse and repeat. If we don't get into Intel here at VWAP, then it's a matter of waiting till we make another test of $58. Now, so far, so good, but Intel hasn't really flashed that sign that it's holding here.
Yeah, we just had $1.60 there on Amazon. Good trade over there on IBIT. Yeah, there goes Amazon. I mean, okay. So we're out of now 70%. We got right into the high of the day of 225.50 and stopped completely. So yeah, maybe that's another ad right there if we can pyramid this up on a break of 25.50. 225.50 there on Amazon, but we were pretty patient with it, and there it goes. Nice move there to the upside. Check back in on our good friend Intel, and then we'll check out some other stocks. I just want to see what that's doing. Avis is halted. Okay, that's interesting. Car halted. Let's check out what CoreWeave is doing right now as well. 91. We wrote down 90, right? Was that what it was? Yeah, 90 long. There, we've came in twice into that level and bounced up into 92.50. So 90 long seems pretty easy to me, man. I mean, that was the pre-market lows. We'll see. Although it's coming in pretty strong now, so we can check out what's going on there. Is anything going on with oil? I'm guessing not much as the market continues to go higher. Wow, this Amazon trade, guys, like ring the freaking register. Hey, man, if you guys are in this Amazon trade, let's go, man. Let's put that Lambo back on right now. Yeah, oil right here doing nothing. But there it goes, man. There's, you know, the big trade of the day right here for me. Amazon now up $1.60, as we said before. I'm waiting at 225.30s, get a little bit more out, and then we'll see if we can get even higher there on AMZN, your trade of the day so far here for me, Amazon.
And CAR is halted. It is a volatility halt, even though it didn't move 10%. Just watch out for that. Halt to the upside on CAR. Intel is now trying to break out off volume weighted average price. You're going to see a nice little uptrend. I'm going to buy the dip back into it. Just watch out because USO just made a false bottom. That kind of sucks. Do not want to see it reject this little downtrend, but it's really not going anywhere. That's the problem. It's just not going anywhere. And Palantir, every time I look over, I'm like, yeah, I see a nice little bounce. Intel back over that 60 level. Finally. I see the NASDAQ bouncing. I see we're in the green, the ES and the NASDAQ, and it's still making some fresh lows. So the reversion, well, there's no reversion yet on Palantir. You just got to be really patient with it. It's still like $3 away from major support on the daily chart, so there's no getting ahead of ourselves. But that's going to be worth a shot. I mean, come on, 2 days. You don't necessarily see 2 days in a row like that on a drop, and Palantir, when it does revert, is absolutely fantastic. But I don't want to jump into it just yet. It wasn't part of the plan. I wanted to be short that on a pop, so I'm not going to chase the long just because it's 9:45. Is what it is.
Right.
My goodness.
Yeah, guys, just chilling out right now. I did take the Intel long again, just this time baby, so we can wait for it happen. And we're gonna actually average it back in. I'm hoping that we can get another dip into 59.30. I'm actually just going to hold this half a unit right now and see. We only were doing 2 units every time. 2 units there every time. Now we're into half a unit as we break through the highs. Let's see if Intel wants to get back up to $62. Probably not, but nice move up there in the NASDAQ. We can extend it much further than zeros in the NASDAQ. So we'll see if this keeps going higher. And remember the partnership here, not partnership, but they get another deal there with Google. So Google going to the downside. So I am waiting. This could completely collapse. I'm waiting for this level. I don't have any stops until 59 breaks there on the monster that is Amazon. Where's the face slappers in the building right now? Here, there goes Amazon up 175 right now, $1.75, $1.80. It's now $2 in the money there for Amazon. Wow. Palantir down 5%. Amazon saying, what's Palantir? As wow, there it is, man. $2 now. We did it again today, Neil. There it goes, man. $2 on Amazon.
Yes, sir. Nice one over there. I'm also in Intel, by the way, because as long as it's holding into this breakout, but the problem is going to be USO. The good news is it's good for the shorts that USO is headed back higher, but that ends up being a false bottom, and we were trending down, and obviously you can see here it's trying to break that trend as we speak. You know, when we say when that happens, it ends up being a little bit of a reversal spot, and that takes me to, I said it would be SMCI. Well, SMCI in that 24 level already put in one top and put in another lower high. I'm going to jump into this one to the south side of the trade, but Intel just doesn't seem to want to go today. No. Well, through the 60 anyways. Video Arcade, can you drive, baby, you can drive my U-Car. Thoughts. That was yesterday's run. Let me just get a stop order. And I haven't looked at U-Car today, but I know that was fantastic for a bunch of small cap traders recently. U-Car. Was there a new catalyst for this? I didn't think there was anything new on it outside of the move from yesterday, which it's trying to go again. Credit to it, but the tops are all the way at 350. Sometimes the day two plays, you want it to settle down. I suppose you could argue that it has already. But a bit of a habitual line stepper, so take your profits where you can. $2 was the level that you need to hold. Looks like it's successfully done that here today. So yeah, so far so good for U-Car. Just wasn't aware of a new catalyst for this. It might still be just yesterday's play. I just heard something about Palantir.
I don't know just how much it's lower right now. It's Palantir just gets 6 weeks low right now in PLTR, and there it goes, man, breaking through 130. Yeah, back into this area again. It looks like Michael Burry talking up his book. It's going to affect Palantir. And by the way, right now, Tesla, we're going to go to Adair in 1 second. Tesla is really getting smoked right now there to the downside. See ya, Tesla. What is going on right now? The market really giving some back in Tesla, number one on that. And we just got some more out of Amazon at the top. What's up, Adair?
I don't have anything more here on Tesla because I'm seeing some people ask about that. Just the story from earlier, Reuters reporting that they could be once again trying to introduce a more inexpensive model. First major oil headline of the day coming from Chancellor Merz of Germany. He's made a couple comments over the last couple of minutes, most recently, though, saying that he believes oil prices could rise beyond the levels that they hit in February, and also adding that Germany will support a mission into Hormuz if it is mandated. Back to you.
Oh, yeah, and then we're seeing the slight move that caused in USO. It's not anything crazy compared to yesterday. I mean, all these charts are going to look ridiculous, like nothing is happening. But it did bounce off the lows. Sorry for that missing data in there. My black chart's fine. But we're through VWAP and we're continuing to go higher, and obviously that's going to put some pressure on the markets, which are coming back in here. You're going to see the Qs off the highs of 25, well, the NASDAQ 25.1s, and the Qs it'll be about 606 that we just rejected. But we're still in a slight upward trend. That's the good sign. But I just don't know how long it's going to be able to last if we keep going up on USO. Like Intel held that breakout, but this is now threatening to break. This is threatening to break that little bit of a trend. So open, higher low, lose this, got to get out there on Intel. But I mean, we haven't made fresh highs on USO. That would be the positive news, even though you see the Strait is still closed and oil slightly going higher.
Yeah, you're welcome over there. Strait of Hormuz. Yeah. I want to put this story up, though. You took the long. I just want to say thank you to our chat right here. Here it is right here. What's up to Sid? Yeah, man, there it is. Watch our trades. You know, take them. I mean, me and Neil show you all of our positions. And there it goes, man. Amazon, you're welcome for that. But again, it was the #1 stock on here. So really happy to take that. And now it's $2 plus in the money right now, as we expect wholesale inventories coming out very, very soon as well. There goes nice trading on Intel so far anyways. We'll see if it wants to hold those bids. I mean, we already got hit on that, on that first play, but we average right back into this name, and now we're going on our good old friend Intel here. So finally, man, we got a little dip by, and there it is. We said that we were gonna hold on to this, and we did that. So now we're doing pretty good on this. There it goes, right back up to the upside. This particular trade, if it just hangs out here, we won't turn positive on the space, but we'll wait to see if we do get a little bit of an increase now in Intel, right back up. We just took some out at the high of the day, averaged in right there at 59.75, as we said we would. So we'll get rid of that message there. So thanks everybody for all the positive vibes that we keep experiencing here at Trader TV. Amazon still that $2, and Intel right now 30 cents. So we'll just watch out for these trades, and I want to get longer. That is for sure. Palantir is breaking 130 right now. So it's the bury is applying a lot of pressure
literally what I was
on
going to
this.
say anyway. So Palantir,
Yeah,
Palantir just fresh lows. It's now going to be within a stone's throw of the April lows here. Well, April lows. The February lows. So a couple of dollars down, and that's pretty much going to be all she wrote. You're still trending higher on USO, so taking some profit. I took a leg out there on Intel. Might take another as USO continues to press toward that high of the day. I think you get a bit of a reprieve if it gets to 128 because we rejected it the first time. Second time is going to be a charm. IBIT hasn't gone all the way to target, but it's pretty close. So that one's almost pulled into that 40 support from yesterday. Just a simple VWAP short into yesterday's low, and as long as USO goes up, it probably
226.
That trend. Oh my goodness. USO continuing to show that strength, but it is at that high, and so that might be our opportunity to be able to grab. I'm going to take another leg out of Intel. It can't seem to break the 30s on Intel if you're watching. 60-30 over and over again. Keeps rejecting. Just got there again.
The #1 trade on the board today, we both had it written down. I think you did anyways, is Amazon. And there it goes, man. Now $3 now in the money as Amazon really starting to go, man. I think we found our groove now, everybody. We always say traders got to trade, and we've had a couple big winners over the last couple of days. Yesterday we talked about we were 4 for 5. We had that Palantir hit, but right here, Amazon, we'll see if it continues to mature up. Just took another piece out at 226 and change, man. It just looked over and was like, wow, this thing is blasting. I don't know what's going on with Intel. I mean, I would really hope that this one continues to make a move higher, but look at the NASDAQ pulling right back into the VWAP level. So we can go back to the futures right now and see what's going on. So you're right back into these pre-market lows. The level I wrote down was 47.20s, so maybe we can get into there, but here we go, breaking a little lower. It's crazy because all I am is long right now and long, but long good names. So I'm happy with where we're long. It's just for now, I don't know where we're going to go. So we're going to have to be very careful with some of this. It looks like Intel is dropping down in. So that's why you take profit where profits lie there for Intel. But we still do want to make sure that we are waiting for a different level to come through, right? I mean, if Intel hits down in 59.50, we'll load it up and then we'll get out on a 59 break. So that's kind of what I'm looking for right now on Intel. Other than that, well, I think we'll just sit here calm and easy trading until we see something else going on. So $2 now in the money on Amazon as that's pulling back and just waiting to see if we do get that Intel reload. Man, you guys can let us know anything at any time if there's any trades you want. We got to get that visualizer
Intel
going.
Just bounced clean off the trend line again.
Yeah, we love Intel.
That's 1, 2, now 3 times we've held the line, but I'm not going to change. Just because it's holding now doesn't mean it's going to hold forever. USO did make a top. If we break, it's now 59.75. You break that, trend is broken. I'm not reversing short there because I tend to like SMCI with these wick tops, and that's rejecting this high, so it's underneath a high, which is kind of what I like a little bit better. But yeah, this is going to be the reload. If we get another wick top, we're going to reload this one to the short side. IBIT's doing whatever IBIT's doing. But USO and energy, we're about to crack 25,000 on the NASDAQ, mostly because USO is pressing into the high. So we get to that top and break it. I think that 25,000 is going to be a little bit gonzo for the NASDAQ down there. And then you can't really ignore Palantir in some of these software names. Palantir, it's held the low. It hasn't made a fresh low in about 3 or 4 minutes, which is about as good as it's done at any point this morning. The problem is there's no strength in the market. I don't want to touch this for a reversion long if the NASDAQ's breaking down. I would have, when the market was trending higher, it seemed like a better bet to try a reversion on Palantir. If the market doesn't turn around, I got to get away from that notion. You can't catch a falling knife if the market's breaking down at the same moment. It doesn't make sense to me. So we'll stick with the 3 that we have because they're all looking pretty good. The one that would worry me is Intel, just simply because the market's weak right now.
Yeah. Yeah, we've, thank you for the nice comments there, but I didn't sell a whole bunch of shares there. People wondering why we made that tick and then the Amazon just goes straight down. It says it's a 226, right? So we do take that out there. Now it's dropping back. I only have now 10% left of these shares. So, you know, pretty good. We did get a lot of out right into here, right? The day's high. So that was a good one. And then we hold a little bit, get another 10 or 15% out up there. And now we'll just wait to see what winds up happening with AMZN. I mean, I'm trying to find some more trades. NVIDIA, maybe. I saw Apple was trying to break. I mean, with this market going lower here, I don't know if I necessarily want to take Apple. Apple's near the lows. This is getting interesting here, back to your 200 period moving average as well. But as this market, you know, you can see it's clearly falling. We did real well by taking Intel long early. We got stopped out of it, but there it comes right back in. Now we're 50 cents in the money on Intel. This is the Apple trade I was talking about, man. I mean, that's breaking lower right here, right now. Just took out those levels. This is why I was looking at it. It looks like Apple could be a decent long where we are right now, but no, it is just falling out of bed right now pretty aggressively. And then that Palantir got to that 130 level. So again, another level to look at, 130 and change. It gets as low as 130 down there.
I'm just going to answer this question. How much raw chicken? Because I'd have to think about it. Would you rather buy SMCI in your long-term account or eat raw chicken? If it's a small bite and I'm not going to get sick, then I'd rather do that. But since you can buy a small amount of shares, I'm not trying to get sick. I don't like the stock, and I think that's perfectly fine. I don't care how good something is. You don't have to like a particular stock. There's always an alternative. If I like the space, I can buy Dell. You know what I mean? Like you have to have that notion. I don't hate SMCI. I just hate what the stock is doing and the problems that it's been having. Again, it's nothing, and I don't think anybody should ever have this personal, oh, this stock is the worst thing in the world. Nah, man, just try to be as analytical as you can be. I just think they've had way too many scandals, which is why I like the fade. And this whole try to hitch your wagon to some Intel news the last couple of days, like what are we doing here? Like, come on. Like that just feels pretty cheap to me. But we just bounced 25,000, but if I'm respecting the trend line and going back over to Intel, if I'm respecting the trend line, it just keeps on moving a little bit higher. It's riding it pretty tightly. Any break, and I'm going to be out of this. It's about 60 pennies in the money as we bounced off the trend line this last time, but all of a sudden, the trail now moves all the way up to 60.20 here on INTC. Don't want to turn this one into a loser. It's been so far solid, and by the way, IBIT did give that 40 bottom and bounce. So for the second day in a row, IBIT bounces off our $40 level. It's about 70,000, 70 and a half ish. So good little short in there. I'll try to reload it if the market still looks weak, but if oil does something drastic, it's not an automatic reload at that 40.25. We got a super chat from Mardcat. Hood is giving up the ghost.
Oh no.
No. No.
Robinhood's a tough one. Robinhood's a tough one.
I don't. I mean, I own some shit. I can now call myself a shareholder in Robinhood. I got into plan is to DCA into it because I'm starting a position, but now I'm not buying any more at these levels. I think it was like 50 on the weekly chart that I liked, but it's giving up the ghost more than Bitcoin is because Bitcoin's still over 70,000. So as much as that went 1% from the open, Robinhood has said hold my beer and gone about 2.5, 3. Yeah, not looking good for them. I almost don't want to look at SoFi. I imagine that'll be bad. Looks like the trail hit on Intel. It'll be a win, but I might have got wicked out on that. Did it really break the trend, or did I just misplace it?
Oh.
You know what? Technically, this didn't really break the trend, but it is breaking the trend now. So I'm hopping out. I cannot. If you make a wick top and a trend break, I'm usually shorting that. And if I'm not shorting it, I'm at least getting out of the long, getting out of Dodge while we still can. Let's go to Adair for happening now.
To kick things off here with some economic numbers, U.S. wholesale inventories month over month. It's going to be a revision, be coming out at 10 a.m. in just 12 seconds, negative 0.1%. What is the forecast? Negative 0.5% is the previous print, so we are expecting, I guess, slightly higher than the prior print. Again, still negative, but better than the prior print. We're going to get this number in 1 second alongside wholesale sales month over month, just waiting for this data to populate. Now, we know, of course, this morning we got kind of a mixed look here for PCE and GDP. PCE in line with estimates for all four prints, but GDP actually a little bit lower than expected. We got wholesale inventories higher revision, so 0.8 to the upside versus negative 0.1% forecast and negative 0.5% previous. Wholesale sales month over month also well above estimates here, 2.7% actual versus the forecast of 0.6%. Market continuing to chop around here. Nice pop to start the day for the QQQs. Then we actually made a new high, but now pushing back a little bit lower as traders digest headlines in the oil space. USO actually at intraday highs. We know we had some comments coming from Friedrich Merz, Chancellor of Germany. He said, amongst other comments, that he's concerned oil prices could continue to rise beyond the levels that we were seeing in February and March. He did say that if it is mandated to get involved here in the Hormuz situation, he said that Germany will, but not super clear about what he means by that. So again, it looks like Germany could potentially get involved with the Strait of Hormuz. Let's talk about Intel, one of many, many headlines here in the tech space this morning. INTC on watch after partnering up with Google. They're going to be focused here on AI and cloud infrastructure. So nice headline for INTC, and it comes just days after their Terafab announcement. Other headlines on watch in the tech space include CoreWeave, which announced a $21 billion deal with Meta, and then immediately afterwards announced a convertible note issuance. We also had Marvell with an upgrade. Tons of headlines. You're in the right place. We'll send you back over to Sean and Neil in the meantime.
Thank you very much there, Adair. Well, I don't know if you've noticed this, but the markets have been extremely active lately, believe it or not. And for traders, that's the type of environment that creates opportunity. Big moves gives you more setups and more momentum to work with. But to take advantage of those conditions, you need a couple of things. You need discipline and you need access to capital. That's where Trade the Pool comes in. Instead of being limited by the size of your account, traders can access firm capital and focus on executing their plans and strategies and managing their risk. No more fear of blowing up your personal account. No more moving your stop loss too early because you're worried about your own savings. This is what you call limited risk trading. So if you want to take advantage of the volatility in today's markets without risking your own capital, visit tradethepool.com or scan the QR code now and get 10% off. Shout out to Trade the Pool. There, we are still. We just broke 130.
Oh
nope,
no!
We did not break
Palantir,
130.
come back.
So it did. It looks like we just bounced off 130 in Palantir. I was able to get reversion back into pre-market highs. So SMCI is going to be out. Bitcoin already came out, and so far so good, 3 for 3. But I'm not. I don't want to stain it, trying to force the bottom here on Palantir.
All right, guys, there it is, man. You saw different styles of trading here. We're going to try to hold on to Intel a little bit. I know you mentioned you might have got wicked out there. There goes Intel up to $60.80 right now. I'm still trying to, I mean, this 62 was something. I just don't know if that's going to be the play here at all. So, trying to wait out for that level to see if it comes out. I mean, we're up to $61. This is now officially $1. So we take 3 at the high side of Amazon, plus another $1 right there. That's $4 so far today, top to bottom. We don't have exactly $4. I'm gonna take another piece out. We still have about half on, so we've done really well trying to hold on to this. Shout out, I haven't seen Adam Deleuze in the chat, but thanks for all the support when you were here about that kind of stuff. But there it goes right there, man. Thank you, Mike P. Derider, for your nice little comments there as well. We're trying to slay, as the kids would say, slay. But there it goes. We are trying to do our best, and hopefully you guys are trying to follow some of these trades. As we said already, Neil crushing it today. We're doing quite well as well. Amazon and Intel both now members firmly into that dollar club. And yeah, there goes Intel. Like, it's too bad that this all happened, because we did have more shares when this was happening. We got about 2 units every time there. We only had 1 unit in total back all the way up. So we'll be fine on it, but we would rather have had more shares. That's always the case. All right, so CoreWeave, that's always the case. Now, I was thinking about that yesterday. We always get these big winners, but at the end of the day, I don't ever have too much on. So that's the one thing that I'm going to be improving on 100% is making these huge calls, but making sure that we hold on to them. And hey, if we lose, I was talking to Joe about this yesterday, like on Palantir, man, we stepped up yesterday and it just ran us over yesterday on Palantir. But you know what? Like, we still wind up fine. It's just today we learn our lesson and we don't get railroaded. And that's really all that you can wind up doing. If you're going to trade bigger share size, you have to be more specific. And that's one thing that in my old age, I'm learning more and more here. You can't just be that cowboy all the time. And you guys can see that the trades over the last little while, just go over to Twitter there and you'll be able to see we've really been showing, some of the abilities of this market in the volatile sense, because it is exactly that, man. It is volatile like crazy, and you never know the kind of moves you're going to have. Like Amazon goes from $3.50 in the money back down to now it's $1.50, so we're all good there. But look at the market today. Pretty mixed, right? I mean, the producing manufacturing, man, these industrials. We talked about the XLI and how hot that's been. That's here for a minute, man. Caterpillar. Like, look, DRAM. We talked about SNDK, WDC, Micron. Someone's got to make these chips, and you need Lam's equipment to do that. So LRCX continues to amaze everybody there as well. Yeah, AMAT, they're all there, ASML. All right, why is this down here today? Okay, this is normally up here. Okay, these have switched for some reason. All right, the health technology now. Eli Lilly, man, really my loser there on the yearly picks. Eli Lilly, like, that's the one I'm most surprised about right there, down 0.62. We'll see if we can get some better information there. Microsoft, as we continue to see, I mean, look at all the software names. Microsoft downside, Oracle getting hit. There's Palantir down a disgusting 7% again. Palo Alto down 3%. Where's CrowdStrike? That's probably getting spanked too. Intuit down 5%. Shout out to TurboTax. Got to get that going as well. Well, we got it going. I don't know where CrowdStrike is, but I'm assuming it's down. Look at CRM. We talked about that break as well. There's Adobe. So it is the IGV today that maybe is worth looking at, because if you're going to trade an ETF today, this software ETF just continues to be the one to watch. I mean, this is a downside play, man. Down 3% on an ETF.
That's Satan.
Their largest holding is Palantir. Then we've got Oracle in there. They've got Microsoft. Basically, every single name I just showed you, Intuit, they're all there. But that's okay. That's why we don't look over there, man. We're looking right here, right now. We're looking at Intel, and we're looking at Amazon. So Amazon still doing well. Intel still doing well. We'll take those two trades, and we'll pass over to Neil and or a super chat.
Well, yeah, throw up the super chat there. Someone just asked, is Palantir making a bottom? It's trying. That's where I'm looking. It doesn't look like you're going to get the reversion here. Bottoming tail candle that's going to lose the prior support. So it's not continuing. Nick W., mind giving your thoughts on ARM on a 30-minute thanks? Seems to be holding trend, but don't want a rug pull. Was thinking it's poised for 165. Remember, ARM is extremely expensive. Well, it's relatively expensive on a PE basis. I own shares of ARM. Just we'll get that one out of the way. And the pattern on this has been very unbroken. I'm zooming it way out. It's been a buy close to $100, and it's been resistance in this 170 to 180 range for a very long time now. Nothing about that pattern, in my opinion, has changed. Even looking at it, when you look at it on the shorter term, which is I think where you're getting at here, you thought it was going to hold trend and get to 165. Nothing, burger. inside. Like sometimes you get these wipeout bottoms. It's like ignore the day and then it goes back to what it's doing. It's in a channel for the week, for the last calendar week, 146 to 152. So I think you play the channel more than anything else because this stock tends to do this. It just reverberates back and forth. So you really got to buy the dips at where the current supports are lying for ARM. But in the long term, I've only ever bought this thing when it actually gives you that 100 or sub 100 look. Because I think otherwise you're just paying too expensive a price. Yeah, they're going to make their own chips, but the big revenue is not coming for like another 3 to 5 years, as they even said so themselves, everybody. I don't like the fact that USO just made a fresh top. That'll make it even harder for Palantir to try to catch a bid. But it does mean now that it's breaking higher, I want to go back to the well, which has been the relative weakness in nat gas relative to oil. And you're at the high there, so I want to fade nat gas, which is still trending down while oil futures go up. That's the reason I like shorting this, because when oil turns, it'll fall with it, and I don't have to wait for the flat bottom break. I can play this pop here in USO. SMCI, I don't know if we'll be getting back into that one. It's not Amex. It's not pressing back into our top. So it filled the gap once. If we hold trend down, great. I could short VWAP, but the only reason I don't want to do it right now is look at what the NASDAQ is doing. NASDAQ is holding 25,000. As long as we hold this 25,000 level, it gives us a bit of a bounce. We have 100 points back and forth in the NASDAQ, and shorting something while the market's at a bounce level is not really my cup of tea on SMCI. So I have to wait for the next opportunity to set up. And in Palantir, I would love for it to be Palantir long, but it's not looking too good right now.
Yeah, no, that would be, what's up, Erie Pages? There it is. What are my thoughts on visiting Argentina as a day trader? Positive thoughts. I think that'd be fun, right? I mean, traveling around as a day trader, that's part of the lifestyle you get to have. And that's why, you work so hard and, try to make sure that, you're sitting here every day. And that's why I say, like, why would, you don't want to be a day trader, to just sort of scrape by. I mean, the idea is to get something going so that you can enjoy some of your vacations and take that time off, because you got to give yourself time off. The market's open all of the time, and you want to make sure to keep yourself grounded and take that time off like Sharif did. I'm off next week. Neil took some off. Joe's been taking some time off, and Dara took some time off. So I think that's awesome to do that. And thank you, Erie Pages, on that one. Love taking time off, but don't take enough of it. So we're going to do some more right now. Like, I'm off tomorrow for hockey. Everything is hockey related. Where is it this time? It's up in Downsview, so it's at Scotia Pond. It's the Provincials tomorrow, so it's going to be pretty exciting. 3 games. We'll see how they wind up doing. I was telling Joe, I think we are north of maybe 20 or 30 this year on expenses for hockey, so it's definitely getting up there, that is for sure. So need to use more shares. Okay, so Intel, just to talk about it, man, we just bounced off of 61 a bunch of times, so we're in and out right there, just waiting to see what's going on with Intel. Darn it, there was another topic I want to talk about, and then that just hit there. So now I've missed what I wanted to mention, but that's okay. That's Intel. Apple with a nice little rebound. I don't know, Apple just bounced off 256. And I was trying to think to myself, like, what was 256? Sort of that drop zone there. Shout out to Canada's Wonderland, drop zone. Right there, 256 is where we just bounced off of for Apple. So we can have a look at that if and when that comes back in there, if it does. But now up to 258, so a nice little take there on AAPL. I'll think of whatever that was. I know what I want to think about. Randy. I need to get another coffee going on. Fabian.
Oh, yeah.
How's it going?
That would be nice.
Recommend going to Chile, Fabian? Yeah, you been to Argentina? Okay. All right, yeah, Chile and Argentina. Argentina's going to be a wild joint this summer.
Wait till the World Cup.
Yeah, I was going to say, wow, Erie and everybody that's living.
Just be careful if you come to BMO and you're in the stands.
Yeah. Get lawyered up.
They look so secure to me.
Get lawyered up.
So look, you're getting a turn here. If the market's going to turn on bounce, then it's going to help that we're getting a high on USO, which is getting the curl. I did say, even though I was short in IBIT, that this 40 level, you got the 40 bounce. We have a potential trend break happening now on Bitcoin. So with the oil futures pulling back, whoops, why did that just flip? Even when I don't want it to, it does. There we go. My number lock was off. So we're going to get into IBIT on that trend break. USO is now headed in the other direction, which is back into the downside. It never pressed enough to actually get me into the boil short, but if we're going to turn, then we'll take this trend break back into some of the highs. So I like the fact that USO is going to head down. That's going to be good for us in the overall market. If it gets back into the prior lows, that's a good spot to maybe take some profit off. And we have Birdman with a super chat. The Birdman, I'd do a bird call, but I can't. So let's just deal with the super chat right there and give you your props. A lot of tickers in this one. As I see it, I'm not on the page. There we go. Thank you. AXTI 60%, AEHR 66%, LITE 48%, AOI 27%, SanDisk 40%, ADTN 50%, GLW 31% over the last month. And you want thoughts? Are we? Which one do we like the best?
Yeah, I have some thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, that speaks for itself. It definitely speaks for itself. I get SanDisk. Like, the thing about, like, look, memory's always been, like, ridiculously cyclical. It's starting to feel a little bit intense, man. Like, the earnings were ridiculous for Micron, and they still sold it. And now you're getting even more extended in the space. It makes me worry about this quarter. It's like, well, if they sold the last time, and then going into this one, we're going parabolic again, yeah, it's been wrong to call highs on memory, but I feel like SanDisk is getting a little overextended. Oh, you know when everyone broke taking profit, but I don't own the stock anyway, so that is what it is. It's so crazy those.
Yeah, these stocks are nuts, man. I mean, that's what we were talking about. I mean, one that I do own and do own quite largely. Obviously, I own Palantir as well, but Marvell. I mean, Palantir were long single digits, but Marvell or single digits. Well, we were long single digits. My average price now on Palantir is not single digits. Marvell double digits, though, at least. And that's making a nice move higher as well into 120. But there's the fade off in MRVL. So just to go to your point there, this is just another major name. As opposed to the other names, this is still that $100 billion company. So still has a lot to go. But Marvell, same kind of ways, man. That's from 87. So that's like quite the move here on Marvell. You're talking about 40-something%. Will it work if I go this way as well? It should, right? Oh, but now I can't see it. 32% there on Marvell in the past week. Well, that's since March 31st. So that one's starting to go a little bit higher. Has Palantir decided to finally turn Z around yet? Because, okay, no, it has not. Yeah, I was waiting for this break. So 131, maybe we can try along there on Palantir, just in case it does get back going. I mean, whoa, there it goes, man. Nice size just got taken out there at 130. Wow. And it looks like it's trying to bounce back there. There was
not want to hold.
No, it flushed through. I don't know what. I missed the exact amount of size that was there, but definitely was something holding up that bid, and then it flushed through. So right now we'll see if there is a flush trade here on Palantir. I like to see it reject and bounce off here, not just because forget about the long-term position, that's fine. We actually got some out at 175 last time. I thought that was a mistake, and it doesn't seem to be. 130 right there. We'll see if it can hold it. Look, I'm not going long anything. Yesterday we had that I'm going long when I'm going long, but I'm not going long Palantir. Yesterday we went long into here and got crushed at 151 into yesterday's or 2 days ago's closing area, but it didn't turn around until we broke the 25 period moving average. I mean, look, this is why I'm here, to try to look for opportunities. And honestly, that would be the one for me. So right here, we're not there yet. We almost broke it there. That would have been a nice turn, but that does not happen. So right now, I don't think we get too excited until a 131 break on PLTR back to the upside. And I'm going to put that order in just in case it does happen. And so we can get long on Palantir on a 131 break. And then we'll see what happens if that can get back up to the upside on that kind of a play. So there goes Palantir. And I remember the name I wanted to talk about. It was CoreWeave. CoreWeave lost a whole bid and more. Like, there goes CoreWeave.
Oh, my goodness. That sucks.
Are you talking about CoreWeave or IBIT? Yeah.
No, everything.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there.
Well, okay, right now, here. IBIT just broke the low.
Yep.
USO just broke the high. So the first hit is going to come when I reverse into a long. Was only short, but it is what it is. You're going to see USO. I have some people are asking, is there a headline? I didn't see or hear anything.
I will keep you guys apprised always if I see something. If you're not hearing from me, I haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah, exactly. And really, I don't know, USO's been trending up anyway, so it was like buy the dip there, and then it bought the last available dip. You're just not getting anything except a slight trend. From the open, at least, it's a slight trend. So, yeah, probably a mistake to get out. We did have that top. So USO got to the top, and I was like, okay, well, that's the spot. SMCI gets down into the fresh low, wanted that top, thought we'd get a nice little bounce off 25,000, and then we'd be able to short the pop. That didn't happen, and now we're headed lower. Palantir, you already showed at the 130 level. You're really starting to see some fades come in here. Like I look over at Apple, I'll zoom it back in because I can see. This is just holding the line at VWAP, so it's at a teetering point where it could roll over. AMD is going to be on radar because the SMCI is kind of gone, so I'm looking for something which can break down, be like a follow breakdown trade. So there's like 9 o'clock, there's 9:30. So you're doing a little bit of a trend break under VWAP on AMD. I believe we have natural gas storage coming in a couple of minutes. So remember I was offering on Boyle in front of VWAP? I cancel orders because with natural gas storage coming out and wait till the other side of that number to put orders back in, which will just be in about 10 minutes or so. But yeah, we're starting to lose a bid. 25,000 is now gone on the NASDAQ. Yuck.
We were just waiting for a signal. Well, we are a little bit reloaded. We just missed 60. I was at 60.01. It went to 60.05, so now I'm at 60.06 right here on Intel, hoping we do get a dip down. Well, we just got it, and I just wasn't at the right price. So we did take something there at 15s already, so we are reloaded a little bit there on Intel. We're just going to hold it close, right? I mean, if this break, okay, shit, man, we just missed that right there. So nice little reload right there. Thank you, Randy, as you know, you put the request in, and this guy just comes immediately. So thank you so much, Randy, for that. We love you for that. But yeah, there goes Intel right now. We just took that place, got out, paid for the coffee. So Randy, I got to give you a fine tip. Here you go, Randy. You know, this is how I'm doing it, man. We're just gonna. Here you go, Randy. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, actually, those aren't any good anymore. Well, because I had one left.
Oh, you can't use them?
Yeah. So they actually did. Because we have the friends over there. Here you go, Randy. Thank you so much for that.
It's just like a...
I tried.
Can you guys read this?
We have, Randy and I go to Tim Hortons, and one of the ladies there is our friend. And
it was a free donut.
Yeah, yesterday, I had a free coffee, and I went there and got it. Or this is maybe 2 days ago. Yesterday, I had the second cup. And she said, oh, you can't do it, but, you know, for you, I'll give you it today. So I was like, oh, why, thank you. I only spent, how much money do we spend there? I mean, free coffee.
Like that's way too fast or something like that.
There it is. So thank you, Randy, for that. You get that tip. But there it goes, man. What the hell are we even doing, Neil? There's a reload on Intel and right back up to the upside. So we got to be happy with that one, man. We just put on another 40-cent winner there on INTC. So I'm not here tomorrow. It'll be Joe and Neil here tomorrow. So that should be really super exciting. I don't know, have you done a show? I've never done a show with Joe, I don't think. Maybe very early on. That should be a lot of fun.
Neil, you did a show with Joe at least once.
I've done a show with Joe.
Okay, nice. Yeah.
You also have, Sean, I think.
I think it was really early, though, for me and Joe. I don't know.
I think you did.
It would have been in spring of 25.
Spring of 20. Yeah, okay. So
well, you know what?
A year ago.
You know how this works. If Adara says it, you know it's true. The memory is like...
Like I said, I definitely think there was one show, but we'll be doing that. And then all next week when I'm not here, I'm not here starting Thursday, it'll be Joe and Neil again for all that. Joe, man, this guy just putting in the work, man. There it is, 50 cents in the money on Intel. What you got, Adara?
Yeah, there were 2 days in mid-March of 25 where Sean and Joe did a show together. I know Neil and Joe also have. So yeah, not really necessary, but here we go. Let's go about these small caps. So we're going to start here with GLMD, Galmed Pharmaceuticals. What happened here is the company announced the development of a new brain-penetrating formulation of their Aramco. So nice look here for GLMD, $6.5 million market cap, 6.5 million share float for GLMD, a name that's rallied in the past. ARAI is up next. Yesterday after the bell, Arrive AI announces that they've secured its 10th U.S. patent for autonomous delivery endpoint technology. So nice look there for ARAI. You've got a $35 million market cap, 4.5 million share float, and 12% short float. GPUS is the last one here. Hyperscale Data. They are a name that we've talked about in the past. Penny stock at intraday highs. On Monday, they announced some preliminary, Monday or Tuesday here, announcing some preliminary revenue and growth projections. $63 million market cap, 6.5% short float. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and join us every single day for random memory fun facts or what have you. We're always here for you guys at Trader TV.
It's a lot on the new version. Right. Thank you very much there, Adara, as
I'm about to go long Palantir.
we sort of still continue. Palantir is almost broken the trend line, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what? It's happening right now. Oh no, shoot, my chart just...
I'm going long on the 75 break here on Palantir. What he talked about going.
My chart just basically crashed. So I have to show you guys the black chart.
Yeah, that's okay. Go.
This is the trend break happening. Once you hold this candle, this is the trend break.
I'm in.
On Palantir. So
Yeah.
for me, I want it to close above if I'm playing a trend line, but it's basically the same sort of thing.
Yeah, so I'm in right now on to Palantir, so let's see where we go. I mean, it just punches through that 75, we get 79s, so not the greatest price, but here we go. Let's see if Palantir can retrace just a little bit higher. I'm gonna stop out on this, sort of like a prior bar. Oh, that's what I want to do. I have something for you guys here. 130.30s. So if we break through 133.30s, your boy is gone. But right now, we're into Palantir. And look at this. You want to talk about a reload, Joe. This one is the cash register right there. There's the reload right there on Intel at your 50-period moving average. And you're going to be joined by Joe tomorrow. Joe and Neil, I just put in the chat, the best possible combo. Joe and Neil tomorrow coming through. There goes Intel. There goes Palantir. Let's go, man. There it is. Let's go. We're firing it off right now. As we said, man, hockey's costing me too much money. We got to put on some trades right there. Nice move here as we go higher on PLTR. Ciao bello, what 270, 170 upside right now, 131 and change for Palantir. There it is. Take another piece. We'll offer some 15s and see if we can get that. But there goes Palantir. We're long right now on PLTR, and we're long heavy on it. So here we go, man. That's going to be a good one. And then it's just Intel for the Wintel as well, as that's going to be a big stock. And hey, man, if you were wondering where do we come up with all of these, join us every day at 8 a.m. And you can see every day we put this out. There's Amazon. That's Amazon's the net the big one today. Well, we'll see if Palantir can get going, of course. There's CoreWeave. That 90 did not hold. We didn't even look at CoreWeave. And then there's Intel long, and then we'll look at the futures at some point here as well. But I think it just goes, sometimes the prices you have don't hit, right? I mean, that's for sure. But what you're looking for is a strong name. We had some videos about this. Strong name, strong stocks is what you're looking for. So there's Palantir. We get some out sub 131, up above sub 131, and
North
now
of
we'll
131. You mean?
yeah, and then we'll wait to see there. It just kind of stopped there, right? We got 130.96s. We didn't get anything north of 131.
I got 09s.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think the top was
at least it broke
131.15 or 20 or so. But it did, like right when it actually punched in at the end of the 3-minute candle because it was very clear that it was going to break. And then I also got filled on the re-entry or the next 3-minute candle. But there's your trend break. And the way that I look at the trend line, and everyone, you can do your own thing. This is just the way I look at it. The first bounce, forget about the open, and this chart I'm missing data too. Forget about the open. The first bounce was here, so that's the first point. And then you hold there, and then it holds there. I could draw it a little bit tighter, but pretty clearly you'd still have the same breaking point. Until we test 131.5 up there, I would still, like to me, it's a 130 that you're giving it to. So reloads on this candle area, but if this is the prior bar. If you test 131.5, then you tighten up the stop, something along those lines. USO still doing exactly the same thing. Oh, that's right. Natural gas storage hasn't happened yet.
Nope.
And I was just sitting there. I said I was going to cancel my orders on Boyle. I did not do that. We have nat gas storage in 3 minutes, so I don't want orders out on Boyle. But Palantir needs to get to VWAP. In order for this to be a really good reversion, then you want to hold here and get to the volume-weighted average price. But the weakness here is insane. But live by the sword, die by the sword. Like each of the last, I don't know how many days, like a reversion like this, like yesterday it was Intel was the best trade for me. So you take a shot when you get this type of an opportunity. The more it's moving in one direction, typically the better the reversion can be. But you are going against the grain. So to me, you had to have some kind of a particular, entry strategy. Well, this is probably not going to get helped by USO. We're headed for 130.
Yeah, no.
Bye-bye. Yeah, USO is, no, the market wants to be down. Palantir, this is the problem.
I got out of Palantir.
I even said if we're breaking higher on USO, that's not the time to take it, but then trend break is trend break over there on Palantir. So it's almost going to be out, and I'm probably going to be looking next at Boyle, but I have to wait 2 minutes on that bad boy. Well, Palantir hasn't broken prior bar yet. It's close.
Yeah, it's
Just
close.
hasn't-
I had to get out. I obviously had a little bit too many shares. Not too many. I had appropriate, but don't want to lose the day on Palantir, so we'll get out right there and be red on that name, just like we were yesterday, but a fraction of what we were yesterday there on PLTR as it just goes lower. We get out on a 30 break there for Sir Palantir and Sir Alex Karp. So good out for me, but we could have done a little bit better there. We didn't get too many out on the top side of that trade. So we'll leave it. We thought that we liked it if it broke that period. Last time it broke that, it absolutely ripped. Right now, we don't have to worry about it because it does not rip through. So hopefully it does hold out there and we can see a lower, I guess a higher low there in Palantir. 257 or so, looks like that on Apple, may or may not break there, so we'll have to wait to see if that does come through. Holding underneath VWAP, underneath the 200 period, looking to get a little lower here, unfortunately, is Apple. And I really like that stock. It's only down 0.5%, but still not well. It's been down here, and it could easily get back underneath that right now. I think this is actually a decent risk to reward opportunity here for Apple to think about going short. So that'll be something that I'm going to look to do here. Apple taking a possible short as we are underneath everything now. I think it's probably worth it. I'm going to start a trade right now, half a unit or so on Apple right now short, giving it basically to VWAP. We can even go to 258.20. I think that's a reasonable area right there. So we'll average it back in. If it does get to VWAP, we'll put on some more here at 257.80. But I want to think about going short, so we're short right now on Apple.
Yeah, we have a super chat we'll get to in a second. I don't know if it's still strong, but you just mentioned, is it JKL, our good friend JKL in the chat? Right? Wow, someone's holding it, about to.
I buy Palantir. What the hell?
It's really battling at 130. Like my stop's like right underneath there. It just hasn't actually triggered yet. I'm like, okay, you're gonna trigger. There it is. That's weird. Like it triggered on the other side. That's whatever. It triggered on the other side of that 130 move instead of actually breaking low. Now, of course, it's gonna hold now. We'll go to Adair, come back for that super chat. Natural gas storage is coming in right now. And we'll get you your super chat there, JK. I just wanted to show the battle of Palantir.
BCF, your natural gas change, you've got positive 50 billion versus a forecast of positive 48 billion and a previous print of positive 36 billion. So again, higher than expected here for oil. Back to you.
So there goes Palantir, man. Palantir just pretty bad. It's going to be my worst stock there today. But I'm glad that we got out sort of where we did. I couldn't, with the amount of shares that I had, like breaking through 130 just would have been disastrous for me. So I like that hold, though. I think you might have been at a good level there. It's just...
Yeah, but to me, it has nothing to do with the hold. It's the strategy.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Today, it's going to be my biggest loser there, Palantir. I love the strategy. It's just a matter of not holding right now 130. So we did average into Apple up here at 257.80, like we sort of said we would. It comes right into VWAP. So now we have 1 unit here on Apple, and I don't know if Joe, I talk about units. I don't. Neil doesn't talk about it too much, but I'll tell
you exactly why.
Oh no, that's fine.
No, this is important.
It's not about that. I'm just going to say, I know, but I'll finish and then we'll pass it to you. I was going to say the most units I'll take is like maybe 5 maximum. So I think that's like we're going to say. For me, it's important to let you know sort of the trades that I have the most confidence in. So I discuss those in parts of units, right? And so for me, for Apple right now, I like this trade. I think this is going to be close to like a 3 or 4 unit trade, but right now we only have 1 unit. So just letting you guys know if you're following it, it's not time for me to layer in yet. So that's sort of where I was going with it, but.
Well, for trading, I'm not like follow trading, this and that. Everyone needs to develop their own strategy. I find the strategy is the strategy, and it doesn't matter what style of trade I am doing, I'm making the trade, and the shares don't change the executions. If this is a trend break trade, it is enter here, it is stop there, it is don't move the stop until it tests the next resistance spot, and then trail the stop higher, regardless. I don't care whether I could be doing it on Warner Brothers in 20-cent range. It's the exact same setup, and it's gonna be the same thing. By the way, I said I was gonna wait till the other side of USO, or the other side of nat gas. It did bump it higher, so that is starting to come a little bit higher on oil, and I am looking to get into that reversion. JKL, silver showing some strength today. What is OBJ at the end of that? I keep thinking Odell Beckham Jr. Well, it was, but it's not. Oh, it's an emoji. Okay, that makes sense because it doesn't show emojis. It's now like everything else headed back down. It just went red. Obviously, I'm sure you were looking at that all morning long and just absolutely flying to the upside. But we lost 25,000 in the NASDAQ. Oil futures went higher, and that does mean everything ends up under pressure. Should have just stayed in all of the shorts early, but that is what it is. So Boyle, which I still had to stop in, and I didn't want long, so I did get in and out flat. I canceled my offer short and then left the stop in there, so I ended up in a long. I didn't want, got out flat, but topping tail candle on Boyle. A lot of these charts are doing this for me. It's going to get annoying, but the black charts are usually fine. But lower highs being put through, despite the fact that you're trending up on USO. That's the pattern I'm looking for, but I wanted to wait until the shakeout of that. I guess it's going to be that inventory. And when it happens, we get a little bit of a spike up. As long as we close underneath VWAP, we're going to enter into that short again if we can. And the other thing playing, hopefully for re-entry, is going to be SMCI. One of the early shorts for me was SMCI. Now it's pulling back into VWAP, which I probably should have shorted the first time, did not. Oil goes higher, pressure on market. Weak stock hopefully holds this downtrend. Once it confirms, we jump into this for a second time. No particular catalyst for SMCI other than them trying to jump on the Intel bandwagon with a tweet, I believe yesterday. I think it was yesterday.
Wow. Oh, man, how bad was that Palantir? That was bad. We should have just stayed with the short, man. I mean, 8% right now on PLTR as that just continues to grind lower and taking out lows right now, man. The IGV, Microsoft, all these names. Look at the NASDAQ finally giving it up a little bit. You know, yesterday we were up 2.8%, so we'll take down 0.4. That is for sure. But there's Palantir, and we could check out CRM. We looked at that. I think we talked about this earlier, and I was like, oh, my God, you're at this breaking spot right there. And now you're down another 3.5% there. There was some news about OpenAI doing something with security stock, security names there. So CrowdStrike down 4%, Palo Alto down probably 4% as well, 3%, so not as bad. We just looked at silver. Silver's moving around. We could look at Netflix as well for now. So we averaged in, so now our average price is right here on Apple, 80s. We'll see if that winds up working. There's Netflix, so nice little bump up there. Netflix has been pretty good, right? I mean, it's been holding these levels, so there it is, $99, holding out good. Nice top area there. Oops. That's right. We have the split.
That's the fourth rejection of 100.
There it is right there. And a good little smiley face there. I'm trying to make some head and shoulders here. And it looks like we are going to break. I mean, I really like Netflix for the long side of this. You know, another name that shouldn't really be too affected by, you know, anything that's happening in Iran. But, of course, we need better feels for this market to get going. And then the only other thing that's hitting anywhere, and you just talked about it, was silver. So silver right now just back and forth a little bit. Good move for silver on the way down. So we are getting that note that we're coming into the day's low and into your 200 period moving average right here on the 5 minutes. So that's something to look at right here. Look, the market's trying to go back higher, it looks like anyways. Oh, no, maybe not. Just tick lower right there. So there it is. We just tried to go, and then we failed again right there. So nice little move, trying to break this the shelf, and then boom, right back in again. That's basically we're at 25,000. So 25,000 all the way up here. That would be a good short if it comes back up there. But here we go, man. It looks like Apple, the one that I thought was going to be weak, is not. So here we go. Now we're loaded up into our position on Apple. So wouldn't mind a little drip down now if we can get that sub 258 is what we're looking for. We're short right now at 06s. So here it comes. We'll take a little bit at O's if it comes. Okay, there it goes. If it comes in. I'm also bidding 96. We like to take a dime out, so we get that out as well. So here comes Apple. Decent spot. We're loaded up on it. Let's see if it winds up holding and potential downside play for Apple. We're in it, and it's so far so good.
Yeah, Lamar, I was about to say, when you said it was going higher, I'm like, what? There was just I just saw the futures make a fresh low, and the second that we got a confirmation that VWAP lost on SMCI, it was immediately just flushed down. So like you're still seeing all kinds of weakness in some of these names. The lower high, it was a little bit easier to get these wicks off the open where it's just kind of, you miss it once, you're going to get it in the next 3-minute candle. I don't know if we're going to be able to pick this one back up at VWAP, but I'll sit here looking for the fill. I want to just quickly look over at Intel. Is that You know, it hasn't lost VWAP. It's still holding the line at VWAP. That $60 level looking pretty solid. You don't want to lose 60. That would be a bit of a problem. And then the Qs. So the Qs have held the bottom. Here's what I'm seeing simultaneously. Like, look at the low on the Qs hold, and look at the high on USO hold. Like, that feels like a bounce spot. If this pulls back and breaks that trend, the Qs are trying to bounce. I got the Boyle shorts. That covers one side of it, but I don't have anything I really like to the long in here, unless it could be IBIT off 40.
What's up, Brendan? There it is, man. There it is. So now P&L number one for me is Apple. And this is, again, why I sort of mention, again, why I talk about units. Because, like, this is the level we wanted, man. We put on a big trade right there. You know, we wind up getting 5-6 units almost on that trade. So right back in. Now I only have 2.5 units left to the downside right there for Apple. So, you know, as opposed to what we had we had about 1.5 units on that Palantir trade. So, you know, a little bit more confidence in this one. And we'll just start to get a little bit more out here as there it goes, you know, all good here on Apple, but still looking for lower, right? I mean, if this market does break, I think Apple can retest at least 257.50, right? Down where the 200 period moving average is. So we'll wait to see if we get some love for Apple. All right, we've always got love for Adara back there in the news. So it's already 10:40. Wow, where has this day gone? Amazon $1.70 in the money. I'm going to take advantage of that to the upside. Man, taking these days off is going to hurt your boy. All right, and then Intel right now, we just got reloaded again at 60. So here we go again, man. We're doing it all over the damn place right now. There's Intel, nice reload on that one. Like, look at this, man. We're just taking pennies here on these names, which is pretty good. 30 cents or so on Intel. Apple, hey, man, we only got 2 of 6 units left, but that's making a move higher here as well. What's up, Adara?
Unlike previous days or recent sessions where we've had generally a very green or a very red session board, you've got a little bit of everything in today's heat map. So let's take a look. Retail trade with quite a bit of strength. You've got, looks like Carvana down 5%. You've got producer manufacturing to the upside, energy minerals, of course, to the upside as we get these geopolitical fluctuations. Utilities to the upside, industrial services strong. You have some strength in electronic tech, though. You've got relatively flat action here in Apple and NVIDIA, as well as moves to the downside in Arista Networks and Micron. In terms of weakness, health tech mostly to the downside, consumer services very much to the downside, consumer durables weak, commercial services weak, communication second day in a row where this is generally a little bit weaker than the rest, though. TMUS is actually green, second day in a row for that as well. You've got transportation with some downside, technology services with the notable exception of Meta is going to be bright red. Is the SaaS-mageddon continuing? Potentially today. Make sure to like and subscribe as we send you back over to Sean and to Neil.
SaaS-mageddon. Yeah, we don't like it, but it's a good line.
Seems like that's what's happening.
No, it is happening. There's no other way to put it. Meta's holding on pretty decently, but yeah, SaaS-mageddon, IGV. Let's be real. You've already seen Palantir. We did show Microsoft earlier. These are just holding on the lows down like that 3.8%. But you are getting that little bit of a turn in USO, which has the markets barely holding on to the bottom. But for now, at least holding on. If we haven't broken the trend yet. But if you break this trend, we've already bounced off the lows. I think continuation is the name of the game on a trend break here at USO. We haven't really had any kind of a real deep pullback that has broken this. So at least for now, it's going to work. And I really hope that trend does break, because that'll bode well for the market. That being said, as it comes back in, Boyle to the low is going to be the play as usual. And then jumping on over to PLTR, it's still holding that 130. The issue is there's really no, there's no mean reversion setup for me. And if there's not that, it has to do like a rounded bottom. It would have to hold the low, put in some kind of a rounded bottom, higher low, which could take a longer time to develop. Everything about this still looks relatively weak as far as I'm concerned. Not a heck of a lot going there. You do have some relative strength in the metals, because as the market made some lows, that bounced pretty nicely off the prior closes, or at least around prior closes, and that could be a nice reversion trade. I'm looking for something to revert long if we break that trend in USO. So use USO as like the litmus. The second it breaks trend, look for something that I can break trend, just sort of following it to the upside. So I like using USO as a leading indicator. Instead of having to worry about what it's going to do, I can follow what it does, and that's worked pretty decently. I just need to find something that's a good long at the same time. Could be silver, could be IBIT, but IBIT's already gone. And I want something that hasn't yet, and silver looks like it hasn't gone yet.
Yeah, I'm looking, so I just got some more out at 258.05 or so. I'm bidding again down there for, or maybe it was a little bit better than that, for Apple, because our stop is going to be 30s, so we're about to get run right there. We have 1.5 units left out of a 6-unit position, so so far so good, as we'll just get stopped out on the last bid and wind up being up on it. It'll actually be my #1 stock, despite it only being basically 30 pennies or so as a maximum there. But like I said, man, we sized correctly on that trade, and hopefully we didn't get out all of them, but if it comes back in a little bit, I don't want to average into this, right? Like, we've already made our play, and I was like, let's see if it breaks 20s right here on Apple, and it just, right now, it's trying to, and I put 30 as my stop, so we already broke. Here we go, give me those 05s. That'd be nice. Don't stop, don't print me. Did I get them? No, I did not get the 05s there. Okay, we were sitting there on NASDAQ. Maybe I should have used a different gateway. We just needed to swipe, and then I think we'll get filled, right? I don't like when it just comes in and just hangs out there for a couple minutes. So I'm going to bid an 09. Maybe we get that instead. Nope. Okay, there, I changed the bats and we got it. So here we go. Now give me those 05s and we'll get less out. Okay, there, yes, sir. There it goes, man. There's the face slapper. So we're back doing some damage now on that name. So, all right, yes, Apple, let's go. No more bids now. Let's see if we can, like I said, if we can get into here, at least the 80s. We've already covered there. 200 period, we bounced off of that. So let's put a bid, and I don't know if we're going to get this. We probably won't. Let's put a bid down here at 65. We'll talk more positively. Maybe we will get it down there at 65. So that's where we'll bid and see if that comes through. Tesla has been a big mover today. We need to have this market to get going again. Tesla 337 bottom up to 342. So that's a great look there for Tesla back in. So that could be a good area to go short. We do have your 200 period right there. You do have that low coming in and holding so far as a support. Turns into resistance right there on TSLA. But Intel just covered some more there at 60.50. That's right where it is right now. Let's put on some more outs there. There we go. We get a 55 on Intel. And yeah, so far so good, man. It's still Amazon just really rocking. Amazon's been an absolute beast of a trade. And we'll take another offer right there at the brand new highs of the day. So once again, man, we'll ride that bull into the sunset today, as there it goes, man. Huge move. We should have just reloaded it at the 200. That's all. Lesson learned there on Amazon. But it was the #1 trade idea, and it's going to be a big one there. AMZN. I guess this one will probably be P&L #1 after this. Wow, Amazon. Okay. I'll take another out here, because why not? We just got elevated to the high side. There it is, man. It's your $3 winner of the day on Amazon. And I don't know. You can never predict how far these things are going to go, but we're pretty happy with $3. Amazon upside there. Intel 50 cents, and Apple just holding on.
Apple's holding on, but I think realistically, I like it. Look, I like the chances of the upside here. Unfortunately, that's sort of the problem. Is the Nasdaq is bouncing very big off that bottom, and that's without oil going. As far as I'm concerned, if we haven't even broke down on oil yet, and the Qs are already trying to go, like, see that? Your Qs are breaking trend as we speak. I saw silver was breaking trend. IBIT has broken the trend to the upside. Everything is trying to lead the market without USO going. And if USO decides to join the party, meaning it actually falls further, I'd like that to happen, because I think oil gets the low of the day if it does. And I think you're going to have a nice, like, I think we're going green if USO breaks this trend. It just hasn't happened yet. And if we don't, then I still think the short SMCI is going to work. It's the only place I'm still offering. It's putting in lower highs. If we're still going to trend up here on USO, then it's the one that I should have been in, and we're going to go back to it. And it's just a matter of failing the top. It's a classic fail breakout at the open and then lower highs for the rest of the day type of strategy. Lebanon's president solution is truce, then direct negotiations with Israel. Yeah, well, let's see how that goes. I don't know how optimistic I'd feel about that. Nobody seems to agree on what any terms might be. Like, oh, but these are our terms. No, they aren't. You're lying about them.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I haven't heard too much about Israel agreeing with any of this stuff. So that's kind of the that's kind of the
anybody.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem as I see it, anyways. But as far as trading is concerned, no problems, man. $4 now on Amazon, 80 cents now on Intel. And I know I'm talking about the same stuff, but let's go over to some other names that you guys potentially want to talk about. Do you throw up that board there, the stock visualizer there, Andre? I know you've got it right there. So, all right, man, Palantir. We talked about that. That's going to be my biggest hit of the day is Palantir. Same as yesterday. So, hey, what's up, Alex? Intel right there as well. That's a good little level there, 60.69. Intel's been...
Another one.
Great trading there. All right, that's enough. We'll just send in the props right there for Intel. Intel's been a monster. Intel and Amazon, the two names that were on here. All right, Meta, UCAR, SanDisk. I mean, these are all names. ARAI. Let's have a quick look over there. ARAI. So here we go, man. Arrive AI. They have arrived today as this market seems to want to kick a little bit higher for them. There goes Arrive, up 64%. And just trying to zoom this thing out a little bit. A lot of room to go. Right now, you're just taking out the 50-period moving average there on the daily for Arrive. And yeah, it's fallen down quite nicely. Looks like a recent IPO from May of 25 there for Arrive. And yeah, now it got real crushed down into 35 cents. Picking it up today is ARAI with 150 million shares right now. Or Daniel Bryan, yes. If any of you watch the WWE, one of the best technical wrestlers of all time, right there, Daniel Bryan. Okay, so nice move down there. Goes by many different names. Right into there, 257 and change. We get it, baby. So that is another one. There, brought to you by myself and, of course, DJ Khaled now. So 4 on Amazon, 70 on Intel, 50 on Apple, and back over to Neil and Adair, it sounds like, might have some news. And we have What's for Lunch coming.
I think it's Money Talks, actually.
Yeah, let's go.
10:50. We'll figure out what lunch is after, even though we saw the flag yesterday. Silver did break trend. We're looking for VWAP, which is in just about a few seconds, which we'll probably get when we come back from Adair and Money Talks.
Oh, boy.
I was excited to see everyone's reactions to tomorrow's lunch, where I find the flag to have a great discrepancy with the actual food. Let's talk about the U.S. dollar, because we gapped down yesterday, and as of today, still trading within the higher range of yesterday's price action, a bit of a topping tail candle yesterday. It's worth noting we've not even touched, let alone usurped, yesterday's high. The high from yesterday is going to be at 99.2. Right now, trading around 99.15, so just below that level. Let's see if we can make any attempt to fill some of that gap. We did have a whole bunch of economic data today, so let's get right into it. We had some numbers here, higher than expected wholesale sales and wholesale inventories coming through here at 10 a.m., but 8:30 a.m. is when we had the real numbers, PCE and core PCE, exactly in line with estimates across the board. But GDP growth rate for Q4 2025, final reading, 0.5%. That's going to be lower than the estimate of 0.7%. Personal income and personal spending month over month for February of 26, both coming in a little bit lower than expected, with personal income actually printing negative. Let's talk about the CME Fed Watch tool. As I've been mentioning, I like to look at these probabilities as of late, and thank you again to someone in the chat for mentioning this to me, because this shows, like, further down, when are we starting to see rate cuts? So yesterday, we were seeing that rate cuts were likely going to begin in September of 27. That has not changed, but what has changed is we're now actually pricing in 2 rate cuts in 2027. Now, yesterday, we got the FOMC minutes from that March meeting, during which they said that they're actually seeing a rate cut in 2026. We are not pricing that in on the CME Fed Watch tool. But if you go back here to what we're seeing for April, looks like still, at least for now, no rate cut expected in the month of April. It's interesting to see what month the FOMC expects to cut rates, because again, CME Fed Watch tool is saying that we might not get one in the next 12 months or even longer. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to stick with us as we go back to Sean and Neil for What's for Lunch.
Well, I mean, you know what? We could really eat the rawest of tilapia today and be completely happy. This right now is $4.50. Amazon just bumped the hell up right now into $2.28. So there goes Amazon, there goes Intel, there goes Apple. Today's What's for Lunch. Let's go find out, man. All right, What's for Lunch? We did get a great super chat. We are going to get burgers one day. We want to thank yesterday Dragos in the chat for the $200 super chat yesterday during the afternoon show. Yeah. We want to thank Dragos for that. So we're not forgetting, man. But the Amazon trade could buy a couple burgers. All right, today, what? Today's Italian flags. We gotta like that one right there. Oh, I already see tomorrow, man. Damn it, I'm missing it. That is too bad. Okay, today is Italian style beef meatloaf. That sounds like Italian style beef meatloaf. Sounds a lot to me like meatballs, but that should be good. Italian seasoned.
That's a thing?
Thing is, if it's Italian meatloaf, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's more the meatball that we're looking at, but I don't know. We'll take it. Maybe it's just, we'll see what it looks like. Italian seasoned roasted vegetables. I don't know. And then a little bit of pasta with it, with some salads. So that's it. So the protein today is zimita.
I'm giving it a solid. I have no idea what that means.
Yeah, I'm giving this a solid. What in the? There goes Apple, man. I mean, you guys saw me sit here, take this trade. We talked about the risk to reward, the profile on this. My stop is 15 cents. So there it is, man. Another 3-to-1 right there. We still have half of our shares, so we'll just take another piece. I'll take another one right here at 60. We just got a 55, so boom goes a dynamite, man. We're finally holding on to half. We said that we're trying to do better on those hold spots, and it looks like we did exactly that right here with AAPL. So yeah, man, so far so good. I'm just gonna, for this Amazon trade, like, every time I get out, I feel like it's wrong because this just keeps on happening. So let's just give Amazon room. I mean, we're very light on the position now. And then Intel is back into the dollar club, but back to day's high. I mean, you want to talk about some reloads. I mean, we did have that sniper, and yesterday we got that talk about, I think they said Neil, the trend breaker or something like that, and I'm the sniper there. And today is exactly that. We say thank you for those kind words, because snipe there, and pew pew action right now on INTC. So yeah, good trading happening today for sure in the markets. Despite the NASDAQ being flat, we mentioned that it's kind of just doing not much, but you did have a roller coaster there, made that low, now you're right back up. So if you're just a futures trader, you had the high and then the low, but right now you're back in the middle, hence where VWAP is as we hover around. So just trying to take some out here, we only have 5 minutes left.
I don't know how much I trust that move up in the futures with USO heading right back into the top. And you know what I said, into VWAP, that's one reason for it to jump out of SLV, but also the fact that you held the line. It was supposed to be trend break on USO, and it still hasn't happened yet. Like, remember I told you, one of the things we led with, actually part of the video we were discussing yesterday, and our lesson in the afternoon was specifically that one of the best opportunities all day was when you had this trend break and it was in the other direction on USO. That happened at 10:20. We're still working on this uptrend break, and it hasn't happened yet. We bounced off the trend line. That's the reason I'm out of silver. But if we do break this trend, obviously Boyle will work out. But the other side is that trend break is going to enter that long one more time in here. I think that's going to be, as it's happening now, reload in SLV, wait for your pattern to hold, and I think we can get back to the high of the day as long as we hold this trend break. So the NASDAQ's going to like it. But the reason out was what I saw in USO. USO is now under the trend line. So I'm jumped back into the trade, and we'll give it to the prior bar just like we were before. So that's the only new change in there. I did just tag SMCI in, which I left that order. I don't know how much I'm going to like that with USO breaking the trend. Yeah, no, I'm going to flat that. Don't need to be in it. If I think USO's headed down, then that indicates a bit of a long entry to me. Boyle can work for that. SMCI will just jump out of if oil futures aren't really giving us what we want. And yeah, there's a lot of names worth watching that we haven't gotten into. One we have watched might actually be catching a bid.
Uh-oh.
It's Palantir, but not where I thought it was going to catch the bid, so I'll stay wrong on this. But yeah, I'm not chasing this move on Palantir, not going to exacerbate it. Chasing a move on the weakest stock out there, maybe it works, but that's not going to be my cup of tea at all. PLTR and the whole IGV.
Well, we've already tried to chase it.
Well, here's the crazy thing. Palantir's bounced off the lows and breaking higher. The IGV itself is still at the bottom. So something is not cooperating. Must be Microsoft. It's got to be.
Yeah.
There's nothing else big enough. If Palantir's bouncing, then the IGV should be bouncing. Microsoft is barely going either. So really, it might just be Palantir trying to do its own thing.
So yeah, with only 3 minutes left, we got Sharif back. So we welcome Sharif back. Let's hit some couple bang, 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 bang. right there. So get ready for some midday action. We were lucky enough to have Luis yesterday on with Obi and Sharif, but the dangerous duo is back one more time. So we're getting very excited to have Sharif in the building. So that's the midday duo, Batman and Robin. Just got to figure out which one is which over there. All right, so nice move higher there. Intel. We'll continue to watch it. So CoreWeave, right? CoreWeave had that deal earlier today, and boy, oh boy, did CoreWeave get hit. Down to $85 right there. Starts the day on the news, up to $96 there, and wow, what a fall down. Fall from grace, I guess, there on CoreWeave, as that one just keeps printing lower and lower right now.
The problem is it was mixed news, though.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, it's bounced nicely, so if you're able to, as you mentioned with Palantir, this little low right there might just play. So watch out here. 88 and change on CoreWeave. If you are so interested in that name, that could be a good play for you as well. CoreWeave down around $88.
If you're just tuning in now, they had the news with Meta, but there was also the offering. So it was like,
oh shoot.
So they had a little bit of both there. So it got tagged to the upside, and you know, obviously heading to the downside on that. And look, it's looking a little bit better now. Meta is actually going to break the high of the day any second now. So day two still looking good for them. Unbelievable, this stock in the last couple of sessions. The fact that we could actually see a 50-period break on Meta. Haven't been there since the beginning of the year, but it's about to. The only thing that wouldn't scare me, but you have overhead resistance with the 50 period and about 635. So if you're punching long in this particular moment, you do have some overhead resistance over there on Meta, worth a watch. Only 1 minute to go. The only new position was, of course, like silver, re-entering it. So it's now trending back into the upside. Looking for, we'll zoom it out, and that shows why the 68 level matters even more. Look at that coincidence. Right at 2 o'clock or 2:20, this is where silver fell off a rock. I think pressing back into that level is going to be the next out. That's what we're looking for next. The name that you like is going to be Marvell, which we have not watched. But before we get there, one of the reasons why, someone asked, why don't you just play USO? The reason not, because every single day that this has worked, if there's any top on USO, oil's always making lower highs. And almost every single time it's mated to the next even dollar. It's not nearly as, it didn't go upside enough today to give you a real stretch, but if it just trades that 1% range, then that's good enough. And we'll play it back into the low of the day, just doing the exact same thing it has. I just realized I didn't have a bid out. So I gotta make sure I have that. One for halfway to the low, and then for the low of the day, we'll wait for it, and hopefully that cooperates. I guess these bets are in the same direction because I want market up and oil to continue back down, or energy to continue back down.
All right, it's 11 o'clock. Good show. Thank you to Adara. Great job today with Rahim. Thank you to Sharif as well for that morning show. And then he's getting ready for the midday, so we'll welcome him back. Ramin, Andre, Fabian, thanks for everything. Brendan's in the building, so that's nice to see. Shout out to Brendo and everybody that's watching. Thank you so much for everything. It's the midday show. They're up right now. Let's throw it over to them. It's Joe and it is Sharif. Me and Neil and I will catch you at 2 p.m. Ciao till then.
That meatloaf, baby.